Check. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know what day it is. I've been up for 48 hours. Been used and abused by crew scheduling. And all I know is I want to fly L1011. So here we are, ready to rock and roll. Boston, Massachusetts on the ramp here. Ready to fly over to Chicago, which I'm pretty sure, I think I said we should never fly back to Chicago because performance is terrible in Chicago in terms of airport scenery. We'll find out if that's true or not. But we are rocking and rolling the United L1011. Absolutely love it. Zach Dill, I saw you hoping for Canada. I know. I was thinking Halifax, too. I really want to pick up that Halifax scenery and do Air Transat. Air Transat livery is absolute fire, too. I like the way they have, like, the two-tone engine chrome thing going on. But I'm also waiting for those fantastic livery creators. I'm really hoping for Whiskey Throttle to maybe do the big wave on ATA. I also have I'm all in on the L1011, man. I'm looking up my old flights. I have old tickets from ATA L1011 trips, and just I'm loving it. So when I got back from work, couldn't wait to go live with the L10, so here we are. This is the release version. Unfortunately, it kind of seems to be the same as the pre-release version that we had, so all of the bugs that I initially kind of looked at are still there. I did figure out how to extinguish the DH ADI light, which is pretty cool, though. So we'll talk about that. We'll fly the LTN. I know XP72 is this is his new favorite airplane. He needs a little more tutorials on the LTN 72, which we'll take a look at today as we fly over. We're going to stay all LTN nav. We are going to back it up with VOR nav, simple flight plan, VOR to VOR. We're doing a non-radar departure. I'll show you all about that stuff. If you have questions, you'll be able to follow along. So, ready to rock and roll. Scott 423, the 60 months of support. 5-year badge. Got the 5-year badge. Thanks for all the great content and entertainment. Scott 423, thank you, sir. Thank you for your support on this channel. Really do appreciate you, man. Over the years, whether I'm streaming, making content every day, or I go into a hidey hole for 6 months and have to move across the country, V1 Nation has always stayed strong. So I really do appreciate each and every single one of you and your support throughout the years. Thank you, Scott. Cheers to you, my friend. Just got myself a fresh coffee, ready to rock and roll here. It's cold, it's windy. It looks like there's some snow flurries, mostly rain, so we'll have to take that into account as we fire this bad boy up and head over. So, without further ado, I'm going to reset the drone cam so we have it ready to go. We are on Iveo. I did see a 727 and an MD-11 over there. Look at that. That's Team Vodka and a 727. Ooh, that's hard to beat. A bare metal MD-11. That's Zippy Zapple. I tell you what, let's talk about the MD-11 and cruise a little bit. I did fly it around with the newer update, and I want so bad to love the MD-11. I want so bad to love it. I don't know. We'll talk more about it in cruise. Zippy, are you flying it in 2020 or 2024? All right, rock and roll. Cafe latte, be specific. What kind? Oh, you're not going to like me, Callie Simmer. I'm on my 737 diet plan, right? So I got just I got a grande pike, but I splurged. I got a little cinnamon in it, just straight black pike, but I did do cinnamon topping on this one here. I got to stay on my fast. I don't want to break my fast till about 1 o'clock or so. I fell off the fasting train when I got stuck in Liberia for 2 days. Fish tacos, guava chocolate desserts, like local beer. Yeah, it was... The 737 training program fell off the wheels when I was in Liberia. So anyway, no coffee with milk, no milk, nothing, just straight up black pike, a little bit of cinnamon. Absolutely love it. It's called the 737 diet. We got to stay in shape, man. That 7.3 cockpit cannot. You got to stay in shape if you want to fly the 7.3. All right, let's fire this airplane up. I love this cockpit. I got to tell you. This cockpit, the texturing, the contrasting, it looks so good. AnyBuilds really did a good job on this. I know there's a lot. AJ, Funari, and Gus absolutely hate AnyBuilds. They never say anything good about them. And there's additional people that just can't stand anything AnyBuilds. I'm telling you, most of that hate comes from people that don't even own the airplane. So, or they got burned in X-Plane 11 and they want their old sim to still be up to snuff. But hey, such is life. It's unfair. But I love the L1011 cockpit. It's really well done. If anything, I think the exterior looks pretty good. Like I said, I want to see some livery painters get their hands on this thing. I did find out that they are working on adjusting the dirt slider. So if you know right now, if you adjust the dirt slider on the L1011, it basically puts brown dirt on the airplane, which is not very good. But they are working on modifying that to be more like the A340, I believe, which is pretty good. So, Team Vodka, additional people. Yeah, you're the additional people. All right, let's get this thing fired up, and no more chit-chat. We are a little bit slow to load in paneling today. I don't know if that's a sim thing or what's going on. But here we go, battery switch on, and let's just listen to the sounds as we close the bus tie. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. We'll put ground service on external APU. That's fine. Check out the fail light there. DC standby bus. That's normal. I'm actually going to turn the sim down a little bit as we pre-flight here. And then I'm going to go into my V1 flow. Position lights coming on, logo lights, emergency lights, arm, standby power, arm. Make sure that light extinguishes. Master radios, those are coming on. INSs into the standby position. With them into standby position, I'm going to turn the panel lights up. And the first thing we're going to do is get them aligned. So we'll move each INS over to the pause position. And I am going to make this, I don't know if I'm going to cut it from stream or try to make a dedicated video on getting our stuff aligned here. But we're ready to go. What gate are we at? I actually don't know. I think I'm at a JetBlue gate. And it is, we're on Charlie 21. So for those that want to align your position to be the most accurate, I saw XP72 stressing about being at the right gate. Listen. This LTN does not care if you're 30 feet off from the wrong gate. This is 1979, brothers. It's like 5-mile accuracy was extremely good. 10 miles was required. So if you're 30, 40 feet off with your gate position, it's not going to cost you anything. And matter of fact, if you don't want to take the extra step to find the gate position, what you could do is go straight to your OFP, scroll down to the very first waypoint where it has the airport identifier, Boston. You could put in the airport reference point as your position, and you will be plenty accurate for the purposes of the L1011. Now, real world procedure, yes, you're going to find the gate. You're going to get the exact gate number. The more advanced INS units had triple mixing where they would feed off of each other. To my understanding, that's not how this works in the L1011. It's basically one unit drives AP1, second unit drives AP2. They don't really talk and mix off each other. So in terms of sim purposes, you'd be 100% A-OK just putting this Latin long right there, and then you're done. But let's be a little bit more specific than that. Let's go to the airport page. We're looking for parking gate coordinates. On the Jeppesen Navigraph charts, that's a page you're always going to look for, parking gate coordinates. Some airports still have the gate coordinates. I think Philly, I don't know unless they got rid of them. Philly used to have them right there when you look, when you park, they'd have the coordinates right here on the, at the heavy gates, they'd have the coordinates right there for your SIVAs. So C21, 4222-1. So here we go. We're going to go into pause mode, north, 4222-1, 4222-1. Verified, check. 4222-1, insert west coordinate, and that is going to be 071 008, I believe. Double check. 071 008, confirmed. Insert. Dunzo. Let's do the same thing here. North 4221. Insert. Oh, one more two. 422. Oh, we screwed it up already. It's okay. I saw XP72 do some ungodly things to this LTN72, and it still worked out for him in the end. So it seems to be a little bit more forgiving. All right, let's try this again. North 4221. Insert west 071008. Insert. You do not have to do all three. If you don't do all three, you're going to get an Attitude 3 light for your INS, but we're going to do it for purposes here. 4221. 42221. Insert west 071 071 008. Boom. Done. Now we can move this over to desired track status. Desired track status. And let's go up and move these into align, align, align. And then move you over one more. Boom. They're all aligning. Wonderful. That's the first flow I do right there. Get the power to the airplane, get the lights on, get the ADIRs aligning. I keep calling them ADIRs, LTNs, and then we'll go from there. Let's juice up our glare shield. Let's get some instrument lighting going on here. Do we need any floodlight today? How's it look? Ooh, we'll do a little bit of floodlight. That's fine. We'll do some console lights, some engine instrument lights. We'll do a magic barrel ref, and then we'll head over to the flight engineer panel. Let's take note. 3058. Goodness, we got some pressure going on here today. 3058 is the altimeter. This is by far the most interesting and streamable plane in the SAM. It keeps you busy all the way. It sure does, man. I love this bird. I absolutely love it. 3058. Cruise altitude, according to Simbri, for filed flight level. What did we file? I can never find the flight time on Simbri. 360. 360 is set. Okay, moving top to bottom, we'll test the APU. That looks good. Everything looks good. Fire test A, B. Bell works. Bell cut out. Good. We'll turn those off. Pylon overheats, A and B. Those work. Engine turbine cooling, overheat, overheat. That checks. We'll do the test. Wheel well A, wheel well B. Both work. Wonderful. You can check the gear. High temp. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd latch and unlatch all of them. But that's fine. We'll skip that for now. Slap monitor is on. We're going to leave it as is. We're going to leave the, this is your actual OR warning. That's your overspeed alarm, cabin pressure alarm, unsafe landing, unsafe takeoff. This is what XP72 heard yesterday on takeoff roll. Flaps, LRS monitor. Ooh, yeah. Let's go ahead and put it back to unsafe takeoff, standard position. Galley smoke, can't test it. We'll leave it as is. All right, moving down the hydraulic system panel, we'll go ahead and put these into auto. I believe you can wait till engines start. We could actually do PTU test here, I believe. All right, you can turn the PTU on. Or the AC pumps on. There you go. And you could pressurize. And you'd wait for them to go all the way up. Make sure you have enough pressure. Of course, you'd have to get permission from ground control on this. Anytime pressurizing hydraulics. What's the difference between the MD-11 and the TriStar? TriStar is better. It's a better airplane. MD-11 is think of it as the NG. It's more modern. You got displays and FMS and all that good stuff. The L10 is much more old school, but it can accomplish the same mission. However, the MD-11 in its refined state is quite the beast of an airplane. It is quite the beast of an airplane, but it does not have an S duct either. It's got the standard engine plane on the tail thing. So, all right, let's see. Air conditioning panel. We're going to leave it as is. We're going to get the APU fired up here in a minute. Pack select. We're going to leave everything as it is. We'll put you on forward cabin. Put you on the compressor discharge. Actually, I'll put you on compressor discharge light. Moving across here, galley power. We'll power up galleys 1 and 3 while we're sitting on ground power right now. That's normal. Checking the APU external power volts. That looks good. Essential bus is powered, and we're going to leave everything as is right now. We're going to keep this on B3, G1. That's the normal position. Fuel tank pumps bug. It's still there. They should all be off. But we'll go ahead and power up one fuel tank pump as we get ready to get the APU fired up. Here's your engine tank selector. That's fine in that normal position. So we got one fuel tank pump on for APU start. That's ready to go. And with that said, let's go ahead and fire up the APU. Master power switch is coming on. With the master power switch online, let's go ahead and start the APU. Don't load light. Doors in transit. That's your cue to go outside and take a listen. Loving the L10. Drew Smith, what's up, my man? Good to see you, dude. I love the L10, man. Team Vodka says, I'm Team S Duct. Me too, man. Zippy is straight intake juice. You know what, Zippy? If I got to go straight intake, I'm DC-10, if I'm being honest with you. I'm DC-10. Did not get a notification. V1, how you doing? I'm doing well, Lemon Wolf. I'm recovering from my 48 hours awake on my last day of reserve, and they said, oh, you're just going to go fly one leg to repo? Yeah, no, it didn't. Turned into 48 hours away from home. Massive shafting from crew scheduling, a lost day off, spill trip, so I really don't get additional pay. But we're here, baby. We're flying L1011. All right, APU's coming up. I'm going to turn the air bleed on. And I'm going to let that cook for 2 minutes before we turn the bleed on to the cabin. Turks is here. What's up, man? L1011 was made by aircraft engineers. The MD-11 was made by accountants. True story. True story. Shaq Oatmeal in the house. My man, I saw you reach 600 hours, dude. Congrats. I'm so pumped for you, Shaq. I love following along, man. I'm so pumped for you, Shaq. You're doing a wonderful job, dude. Keep us posted on the great work, man. Stay safe out there, dude. Stay safe. All right, how we looking on the desired track statuses? We are down to 0-2, so we are ready for alignment. Let's finish the alignment process. So we have ready light. Holy chat, there is a roach the size of Texas crawling across my monitor right now. Good night. What are we going to do with this, chat? Alright, well, it's going that way. Golly, why are roaches so ugly, man? Like, give me spiders, scorpions. Roaches are just nasty. Eat it. Well, he's coming along for the ride. Let's go ahead and align our nav switches. Oh, I don't want him to crawl into my coffee, though. Hold on, he's crawling off. Alright, go that way. Rax shotgun. Oh, Chad, he's coming closer. No. You can go the other way, Chief. Go that way. Get out of here. I don't want you crawling up my coffee. Man alive. Alright, align nav. Roach sim. Well, so we got our first rain in Texas in like 42 years, so everything is coming out of the woodwork. That is a big one, though, Chad. That's a big one. All right. We're in the aligned positions, so now we're going to go ahead and start our waypoints. And I only have 3 waypoints, but we're going to do a sim brief import of said waypoints just because it's going to save us a little bit of time. So we'll go waypoint 1. You'll notice that everything is in the 0 position. That means we don't have any waypoints loaded. So if I go to my OFP, you'll see here we have 3 fixes, Cambridge, Syracuse, Carrollton, and then the runway into O'Hare. You would just go through, just like we did with the INS position, and you would load all 3, but for the sake of time and roaches, let's send to FMS, excuse me, INS. And they are in the INS. 3 waypoints. 1, 2, 3. Done. Beautiful. All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to activate the box. So we're going to do track change 0-1, insert, and now we're ready to go. We hit INS. INS switch is activated. Wonderful. I'm going to put you on desired. I'm put you on distance time, desired track heading 290, and then we'll flip this to ground speed for the flight engineer to keep monitoring our taxi speed. We also have to track change this one, 0-1. Insert, there we go. So you got 0-1s, you're ready to go. Everything is valid. I'm worried this thing's gonna like crawl down my desk, get on my shorts. Ryan, what's up, man? Thanks for the $10 super chat. Hey, V1, love the content. You inspired me to get out of my comfort in the sim, inspired me to pursue aviation as my career. Picked up the L10 the other day, can't shake frame stutter. Any ideas? Well, Brian, first and foremost, thanks for $10 super chat. Appreciate the support, my man. Very kind of you. Shake the frame stutter. If you're on the ground, I have noticed it is like when you flip views, it can be heavy. I know Anybuilds is working on optimization. I also know that having the paper EFB open on certain pages, load sheet, takeoff, and landing perf will severely degrade your performance in the sim. So try to keep it on either OFP or on just like the regular menu page for to help you with perf. Other than that, I hope that can. That helps you out a little bit, man. But thanks for the kind words. Enjoy your career in aviation as you pursue the whole journey, man. It's it can be a wild ride. So thank you for the kind words and $10 super chat. All right, we got no ATC online. Let's get the rest of the airplane set up here. We're going to set cruise altitude of 360. AJ Funari dropping 20 gifted subs, my man. 360 is set. I'm going to dial in 250 here. AJ, the certified Any Builds hater himself. I can't believe he dropped 20 gifted subs on this stream. AJ, thanks so much for the support, my man. Appreciate the support over the years. And very, very kind of you to drop today 20 gifted sub bomb here on the channel. Very awesome of you. Get a round of applause. Get some positive rates in there for AJ. If you did pick up a membership from AJ, please do shout him out and say thank you. Very kind of you, sir. Thank you, man. What texture resolution? Oh, you're not asking me. Sorry. All right, so that is set. I'm going to put our VORs into the norm, so those are on. Everything else is pretty much good to go there. Let's run our performance calculation and actually load sheet. So we're going to do sim brief import. Aircraft is loaded. Takeoff, sync, calculate, set bugs and EPR. And we're going to get the PMS set up here in a minute after we get some air conditioning to the aircraft. So let's get some air conditioning now. We are on norm mode. Let's go ahead and get packs 1, 2, 3, cross feeds open, isolation valve latched, I should say latched rather. 1, 2, and 3. We'll get the hot air trim valves on as well. If you don't have your hot air trim valves on, you will just be freezing everybody out in the cabin. So we froze out all of our passengers for quite a few flights until we've remembered we have to turn our hot air trim valves on. So hot air trim valves are on. With the APU on power, we'll just leave it providing power, or excuse me, the APU is providing air. We'll leave the GPU providing power. So we split the load for right now. All right. I'm keeping an eye on this roach, guys. I don't know where it went, so it's a little bit sus. I've lost visual on the roach. Keep an eye on my coffee. I just don't want him to take a little swing over to the coffee cup. All right. Oh, get this. To extinguish this DH light, press this button. Ha, who would have thought? That button will extinguish your DH light. I thought that was a bug. All right, now here's one more trick. Flight engineer panel. We need to set our fuel totalizer and gross weight. If I click this, it loads the aircraft in kilograms. Any Build's got this backwards. Go here to go to your menu, go to aircraft, go to metric. Go to metric, press it again. Now you have pounds, then go back to imperial. So you don't have to sit there and scroll for 20 minutes. But now we have the proper weight. We have 391 onboard gross weight. Fuel tanks are looking good. They are all on, and the balance we're going to burn from the center for about 6,000 pounds aside there. All right. So that's set up. Now we're going to do the PMS. So to do our PMS setup, and then we're ready to go, I like to go to the load sheet, take a look at our gross weight, 391.3. So to start the PMS setup, get the speed brake lever out of the way, type in the GMT 1240. That gets you cooking. Gross weight, what did I say? I have short-term memory loss. 391.3. 391. Don't have to put the decimal point. Insert. Fuel, 65.8. Fuel, 658. Insert. Outside air temp, right here off the chart, 3C. That's going to give us a takeoff heat of 0.63. Excellent. Move this page forward. To get up a basic TOD, what I'm going to do here is just take my route distance on SimBrief. I'm just going to, you can look it up on your OFP, but I have it here. It's a little bit easier. Nav log, or actually, let's just do this. A straight line distance between the airports is 753 miles. All right, so 753, and I'm going to subtract 50 miles from that. So let's just say at 700 miles, I want to be at 10,000 feet, and I want to be doing 250 knots. Done. That's set up. Move this forward. This will all populate once we get the aircraft moving. We can go ahead and leave it on the takeoff page for reference. Now, this is kind of redundant, to the takeoff data card. You're going to have the same information right here, 633 initial climb. Ooh, initial climb 61 per, so not much of a D rate. But people are wondering, well, do I have to set up the PMS? No, the PMS really doesn't do anything for you other than give you a rough idea of descent and some very rudimentary VNAV. But you know, just to have it set up, it's nice to have it ready to go. And if you want to use auto thrust in cruise. All right. So PMS is set up. Everything else is set up. We're going to restow the speed brake. We've already set the bugs, 633, 613C. That's all ready to go. I think we should go ahead and disconnect, or actually, let's go ahead and connect our ground power, or excuse me, connect our GPU, disconnect the ground power. That looks good. Let's get fuel tank pumps on for engine start. 1, 2, 3, 4 across the board. That's looking good. We'll disconnect ground ceviches. Let's close the door. Let's remove the jet bridge. Let's pull the GPU. Let's put you back over to this page and then hide you. All right. Actually, we need a taxi diagram, don't we? AJ, thanks for the $3 super chat. Appreciate you on top of the membership gift. It says, I didn't get it backwards. ChatGPT got it wrong. Oh my gosh, here we go. Thanks, AJ, for the $3 super chat. AJ just is convinced that Indian Builds uses ChatGPT to build airplanes. So it is what it is. You're missing out, my man. L1011, it's a wonderful bird. The glowing VREF chart can be deglowed a little bit by the PFB brightness, and I got to bring it back up. So you bring PFB brightness down, it comes down a little bit. What we do need to figure out is where we're going. Radio check 22.8.
Yep.
What runway are you guys taking off of?
9.
9? Okay, runway 9er. All right, runway 9er will taxi down Alpha Echo cross to full length to runway 9. As far as our departure, we're going to be on the Logan 4, which is a non-RNAV SID. It's one of the only ones. And I'm not going to fly RNAV, a SID. It's basically off runway 9, fly heading 092. So let's set our heading bug to 092. And then we'll heading ourselves over to the first INS waypoint. Logan traffic, United 357 Heavy, getting ready to push back Charlie 21, we taxi runway 9er. All right. Let's hit the TO button. We got TO, AOA mode. We're ready to push back. So, before start, let's get the anti-collision lights. Seatbelts, no smoking is on. Let's go min mode on the APU bleed.
Pushing back.
Packs 1 and 3 off. Cross bleed close. We're going to start 2 first. Left Alt P. Pushback is commenced. Boeing cam or Lockheed cam is up and running. We're ready to go. Captain Canada in the house. What's up, man? That's a weird looking 7.3. Must be before my time. Believe it or not, Captain Canada, this actually came after the 7.3. Isn't that crazy how old the 7.3 is? What's up, man? Hope all is well. I was telling XP in his stream last night that the 7.3, you'll push more buttons in the 7.3 than you will on the L1011. So it is pretty highly automated. It's just we don't have any of our fancy dancy PFD ND, which can be problematic. I'm not picking on XP72. I had a whole lot of fun last night in his stream. He took off out of Fort Lauderdale going to Atlanta.
Open traffic American 1328.
We got on course northwest of Naples, Florida. It was quite the departure. That was fun to be part of that stream. So just takes some getting used to. What about hop in at Boston and fly the same route? Then I saw the crosswinds. Ooh, are the winds crossy? We'll have to find out. Is there the same issues with autopilot? J-Dub, so the autopilot does not work with the Brunner. From what I could tell, Moza seems to work fine with the L1011 because XP72 has the Moza. So I think it's working fine with Moza. With the Brunner, it does not work because the AP variable does not turn on or is not activated when you turn on the autopilot. Which is weird because the A340 and A350, when you press the AP button, the autopilot variable is active. So I don't know if they just forgot to code that or what. it shouldn't be that much of an issue to fix. If they can fix it, it'd be super easy. And we could have force feedback all the way through our flight. So the workaround for the Brunner is to just disconnect the yoke before engaging the autopilot. My auto did work at the Brunner on the first flight, Smoky Mountain Flight Simulator. So mine, I imagine it's probably the same profile that I have. Mine works like half the time. But what I found is that with it disengaged, the autopilot is more responsive. Is more responsive than with the profile on. Have you noticed that? So like even with that profile, the autopilot might work, but it's not, like it seems like it's really lagging behind still. I don't know. I do think overall the autopilot authority is a little bit weak. I hope they can tweak that. I hope they can tweak that. And I hope we can get pushing back here. I always get anxious and we're like, are we actually pushing back yet? When are we pushing back? Brakes are off. It just takes 5 minutes, right? Tug is connected. Come on, baby. Does anyone else have pushback issues with default pushback? One of the devs in Discord said he'd make sure the APL var doesn't affect anything, and if it doesn't, they'll set default APL var for the next update. Nice. That'll be awesome. There we go. In the push, we'll start 2. We're configured. Ready for 2. We'll use ignition. I'll tell you what, it's cold. Let's use both ignitions today. Starting 2. Starter valve open. I keep looking for this roach out of the corner of my eye. %, N3, fuel on. Light up.
Boston Eastern 646, taxi to 9 Alpha Echo, crossing 4 left at
Mr.
Echo.
Martini, what's up, my man?
Hold short of,
We're going Boston
9.
to Chi-Town, Chicago O'Hare. God help us on the performance and the scenery in O'Hare. Cut about 45, cuts out about 40, was it 45%? All right. And we'll reconfigure. So let's go isolation off, crossbleed open, and we're going to crossbleed the rest.
Back on 1328 heavy.
Just like
the
Royal
Echo
Air.
Crossing 4 left.
A little
at
bit of
Echo,
juice on
9,
number 2
holding short 9.
or on number 1.
Logan.
Turn in 1. Sound up. Fuel on. This might be the best sounding retro aircraft we have in the sim, guys. It is so realistic. I've been watching every L1011 video on YouTube, and it sounds just like the old videos. All right, brake is set. Good start on 3. We'll reconfigure the bleeds. We're cross bleeding, so cross bleed on. We'll kill that cross bleed. 24 psi min. Come on, baby. We could actually kill that. That's the APU flow, right? Or that's actually pack 2. That's right. We got enough juice. Here we go. Hit 3. I found the roach, chat. Stand by. We need a dispatch to roach. Stand by. We're in roach dispatch mode. Roach has been dispatched. Over. Good night alive. That sucker's like 4 inches long, guys. Good thing I brought the boots today. Holy hell. Ugh. Alright. We're burning gas here. Bring that down. Let's get back over. Let's get this resituated. Alright, crossbleeds, packs, 1-3 are all coming on. Isolation to all. APU air is coming off. Press the start-stop switch. APU's coming down. Generators are all in line. That looks good. Fuel tanks are all up and running. Cross feeds can come open. Actually, no. Tanked engine for departure. I believe flight engineer panel. Don't load light. We're waiting for everything to spool down, and then we are shut down the APU. Let's go flaps. What are we, 10 or 4 today? Flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Good night. Juicy thing, man. It's like getting ready to go up my leg. I hope that's the same one because that was in a completely different position than the one that I saw earlier. This guy gets around. Flight controls. Checking here, up and down. Trim for departure, we're looking for 4.2 units. Alright, trim set, ready to rock and roll. Anti-ice is all normal, right? Let's latch 1, 2, and 3 engine anti-ice on because it is slightly snowing. I see everybody waiting for me. Alright, lights are coming on. Listen to this. Listen to this spool up here. Let's go. Love it. Blackbird Controls, thank you so much for the 10 gifted subs. Or excuse me, $10 super chat. My brain is scattered like I scattered that roach, dude. Nice to see the original 7.2 levers serving you well. There's no built like overbuilt. Still the same address, so I can send you an Airbus handle. Oh, an Airbus handle for the tiller, he says. Blackbird Controls, yes I am, my man. Thank you so much for the support. Yes, we are sporting the Blackbird 727 levers on the L1011. They're absolutely my favorite, man. I absolutely love them. I'm looking forward to L1011 levers. I don't know though, because I love the 7.2. I love the design of the 727 lever so much. The L10 power levers are kind of mid, if you ask me. But absolutely love it. Thank you, Blackbird. Appreciate the support. The $10 super chat. Thank you for your support and all you do for the community, man. Blackbird Controls. Check them out if you use the Honeycomb Bravo. I highly recommend you check them out. I'm going to turn the sim down while we taxi until we get ready for takeoff. I see our 2 friends waiting for us. All right, brake check. That looks good. All right, anti-auto brake takeoff is armed. Anti-skid is green. Auto brake is armed. Engine anti-ice is on. Let's see, galley power is set. Since we're running the anti-ice, we're going to go packs 1, 3 off for takeoff. Packs 1 and 3 are off for takeoff. APU main power switch is off. Fuel tank pumps are on. We're ready to rock and roll. Before takeoff check is complete. Let's cut the corner over here. Boston traffic, United 357 heavy. You're going to cross runway 4 left here at Charlie, taxi runway 9 or Boston traffic. Number 3 sounded dead on. The deep gear sounds spool up nice. Oh, I know, Perry. It does, man. We're crossing a red status hold light. Never cross red status bars. We're looking good, though. Must have been before 1985 because that's when I started working for them. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. Do you have to press arm for auto brake for landing? Fly to live. Yes, you do, and the gear has to be down. If the gear is not down, you will not be able to arm the auto brake. Or if you do arm the auto brake and then lower the landing gear, it will disarm the auto brakes. So the auto brakes must be selected after gear down. Look at that sexy MD-11 over there. I gotta say, the MD-11 looks better from third person than it does actually flying it. Captain Canada, are you still here? Do you love the MD-11? I know you flew it around a little bit. There's something about the cockpit. I don't know if it feels washed out. It just feels... The flight model's great. I just don't get
traffic runway 9.
like immersed or soulless feeling in it. Maybe it's the sounds that need improvement. I don't know. Maybe I'm an oddball. I love tri-jets, but if I had to pick, it would be L1011, 727, DC-10, then the MD-11. So maybe it's just my own personal preference, but I think that might be my problem too, Captain Canada. Is the only one that I flew is the one that has, I forget which engine it is, but there's one engine sound set that's better than the other, and I've been flying the one that doesn't have the best sounds. It just seems kind of bland to me. I don't know. More of a Falcon 50 guy. Ooh, I do love the Falcon 50. Maybe it's your childhood clouding your judgment. That's also very possible, considering I flew on the L1011 and DC-10. You're absolutely right, AJ. You're 100% right, actually. Blackbird Controls dropping 10 gifted memberships to the channel, my man. Thank you so much, dude, for the 10 gifted memberships. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you check out blackbirdcontrols.com. It's not just a sponsor plug. I truly believe in Blackbird Controls and what he's been doing. You guys see it every time I have the hardware cam on. I'm always rocking Blackbird control levers. So they're built to last. They've never had an issue with any of them. And he's got quite the setup now. It's quite the array of levers that are available. So thank you, Blackbird. I appreciate the support, my man. Keep doing what you do, brother. Oh my gosh, is this roach still moving, chat? Stand by. How is it? What?
Boston Eastern 646, departing runway 9, Highland 7 departure.
Thing was crawling with half of its abdomen squished. My word. Yeah, Flight Sim guy. You got to hit him a couple times, that's for sure. Boston Traffic United 357 Heavy, going to line up runway 09er. They can survive nukes. You're absolutely right, man. All right, lineup checklist. Let's light them all up. Ding the flight attendants. Brakes released. Let's go. I love that they painted the flap track fairings on this livery. Just be glad it's not a palmetto bug. Oh my gosh, dude, when I was in college. Palmetto bugs for real. I'm more concerned that there's more than one roach now, though. That's my... Why did I just lose lighting to my yoke? Did you guys see that? That's all right. We have the little engine things. Look at that. The little vapors. Alright, runway 09. Although the runway heading does not really line up very well. We'll give them about 10 more seconds and we're out of here. Welcome to Boston, Flight Force. How you doing, my man? We're getting ready to blast off. H8, thanks for the $3 super chat. Roach cam when? I know, dude. Gotta try to fix this light because I can't see what's going on around me without this light on. Alright, let's go. Boston traffic in at 357 heavy departing runway 09. There's going to be a left turn out departure to the west. Boston. Alright, lights are set, brakes are off. Who's ready to go flying? Let's kill the wiper. Spool them up. Yoga's in chat. Yoga. So good. 1.63 is a little bit hot.
80 knots.
644 is fine, it's balanced.
V1, rotate.
Up we go. Beautiful rotation.
Gear up.
Positive brake, gear up, fly with. Listen to that roar. Through 1,000, bring it down to 10 degrees. Flaps 4.
Flaps 4.
Climb thrust. Clean it up. And the left turn. 250. It's going to give me just a random pitch bar reference there. We'll just maintain about 10 degrees. 1.57 on the climb meter. That's fine. Keep it turning. Boston traffic, get out of 357 heading at 3,700, last call, Boston. That flight director is definitely buggy because you should. I shouldn't have a lateral bar there. Sim sounds are coming down. This is where you really got to stay on your instruments going in and out of IMC like this. Pitch back up here, get down to 250 knots. Look at that climb rate though, we're ripping. Alright, 011, 25 miles, that checks. Keep her coming around. Oh, look at that breakout. Man, that's a Denzel breakout if I've ever seen one. Back down to 250 knots. We'll resync it up here. All right, so we're pretty much on course. I'm going to select Flight Director, INS Nav. I'm going to hit IAS right at 250K knots, 255, close enough. There we go. So, well, we're actually go through 10. I'm going to keep hand flying it. Let's lower the nose. We'll do another IAS pitch grab. I should be able to adjust this. I thought. I don't know why you can't, but let's go ahead and lower the nose. We're at 10,000 feet. Those are all coming off. Thing to flight attendants. We'll keep the engine anti-ice on. We'll lower the nose here. Look for about 1,000 feet per minute as we increase speed. We'll go 300 in the climb out. We're following that 727, so we won't get right up on them. Go to the fuel engineer panel out of 5,000. What we need to do now is open cross feeds, and we're going to go tank pumps off. Start burning from the centers. Nah, it won't work, Smoke Max. This is a separate auto throttle system. This should be able to adjust, I would imagine. Just like you can adjust it in vertical speed, you should be able to adjust that, I would imagine. Or disengage the TO mode. I don't know. It seems a little bit funky there. I hope they can tweak that. At 300 knots, though, we're going to go right into IIS. Boom. Or 290. That's close enough. All right. So now for the Bruner users, I'm disconnecting my yoke, and I'm going to activate the autopilot on INS nav, and I'm going to take control of it with vertical speed, actually. Let's go for 1,800 feet a minute. 1,800 feet a minute INS. We're nabbing. Sim sounds are coming down so I can hear myself think a little bit more. And what else can we do? So we'll go ahead and get the rest of the packs on. Flight engineer. Packs 1, 2, and 3 are coming up. Temperatures are looking good. I need to warm them up, though. Actually, that needs to be on duct temp, too. Let's go duct. What is the temp? I think we did determine this is correct in Fahrenheit here, so we do need to warm it up. Let's keep warming it up. I don't want to close that. Let's see what happens. All right, out of 14.5, we're still running the engine anti-ice on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go audio noise canceling on, and actually let's go environment sound down to 50-ish, down to 50. That looks good. Man, it's a, what are our lights on down here? I saw some lights. Hold on. Icing and fuel system, those are all associated. The icing should be automatic. I emphasize should be. Windshield heat. Not getting any lights. Side windows. Wing anti-ice on. Let's turn them on, just to be sure. Our weather radar is over here. I actually haven't messed with it. Where's the power switch? Let's go weather turbulence on. Yeah, there she is. There's some stuff out there. All right, finally back up with the chat. Let's go full screen. Enjoy the breakouts. We're breaking out, continuous breakouts here. All right, Zippy. Be honest with yourself. Whose takeoff sounded better, yours or mine? Wow, look at the weather out here today. Oh, that is a beautiful view, chat. Is the Black Square Caravan worth the price? It is, absolutely. Every single penny. We might do a Caravan stream today at the end of this stream for, I want to show you guys the new sounds. The new update is really good, actually, for the Caravan. Only 95 likes for the RB211 takeoff. You guys are weak. Look at that. See, do we like windows or no window? I can't determine, because you know, if I had that same view angle without window, that's pretty nice without the window. The wing is flexing, dude. The wings don't flex very much on the L1011. I think the wing flex is actually pretty much spot on, dude. It's pretty much spot on. It flexes heavy under load, but once you get flying, it's not that much of a flex. It's really not that much of a flex. No window? All right, let's resave this one. Tell you what, let's resave this one here. So I have my window and no window. There you go.
What?
That's my bad. I was just binding a new view. I don't know why that plays out of order. I have told any builds about that. All right, we're at 20.6. We can hit standards. STDs are set. INS vertical speed. Let's go ahead and lower that down to about 1,000 or 1,200. Our climb EPR, if we go to the forward page, we're looking at climb EPR of 6.8. So we can juice these up a little bit here, get a little bit more power out of it. This or the Fearless 7.4. Well, nothing can beat the tops in terms of just airplanes completely. Nothing is better than the Fearless 747 in my opinion. But it depends on your sim. If you don't have X-Plane 12, is it worth getting X-Plane 12 just for the Fearless? Depends on how much of a 7.4 freak you are. But in my opinion, in terms of who's got the best retro aircraft ever designed in all sims, it would 100% be the Fearless. I don't think anything comes close to the Fearless. Because the Fearless has some serious depth of simulation. I mean, it's borderline a study level 7.4 classic. So, it's pretty insane. Now, you have to, fly an X-plane, which for some of you love that, AJ. For some of us, we prefer next generation graphics and immersement. But when you're stuck on Mac OS 3, like Gustavo, you really don't have any other options. But that's not to say that the Fearless in its current state, it competes. Fearless on X-Plane 12 competes with anything on Microsoft 2020 and 2024. Aston Fly says, I wonder what PMDG will come up with their 24 version of 7.4 Classics. I mean, it is Aston Flies. I'm very excited. They have an extremely high bar to hit. They have an extremely high bar to hit, my man. Now that you're actually filling the 7.3 for a bit, how would you characterize the sounds PMDG versus Boris? Thrust quite the controversial. I mean, honestly, in the cockpit, Boris and default is very similar in cockpit. Where Boris sounds really different, like start to differ, is from the window view and like throughout the cabin. You get the rattling pins, you get the rattling overhead and things of that nature. The default sounds in the cockpit, it's got the outflow valve opening, the shh, that whoosh of air moving through the cabin. From the cockpit perspective, they're almost identical in terms of realism. I mean, I can't tell you which one is more realistic or not because they're both that realistic from cockpit view. From window view and cinematic views outside and stuff, Boris has more details. But from cockpit view only, the default sound pack is very good, man. It's very good. The sim needs a 7.3-200 badly? You know what, man? Haas, I'm right there with you. I really wish we had some more classic. But this is the year of the classics. This is the year of the classics. Let's bring number 2 down a little bit. I think we're out of icing conditions. So let's go ahead and turn these off. Let's turn these off. Smoke them if you got them. I gotta say, I'm still not sold on PMDG Flare. If you flare the real 7.3 PMG, you'll leave a hole in the runway. Sam, what yoke are you using? You're saying that, yeah, so I agree with you, Sam, that the PMDG Flare feels, it's way easier to grease the PMDG than it is to grease the real bird. Easier to grease the PMDG than it is to grease the real bird. That is 100% accurate. But with force feedback, Sam, I mean, it's pretty dang close. That's, I was talking with one of my buddies yesterday. Big time flight simmer. And this is going to hurt a lot of emotions. Hold on one sec. Sorry, I had to get the door there. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, what I was saying about the sim flying airplanes. Big sim fan. Real world pilot. He flew fighters and all that. He also flight sims. Nothing in a desktop simulator, or how do I, let me rephrase. Let me just say the way he said it. This is not my words. These are his words. Every airliner in desktop flight sim flies like crap, unless you have force feedback. Now, I would take that sentence and I would change that. I wouldn't say it flies like crap. I would say that in terms of realism, a desktop airliner without force feedback, nothing is going to feel like the real airplane, because a spring-loaded yoke is not what yokes feel like. It's just not what it feels like. So it's hard to say, oh, I need to flare more. If you flare more with your spring-loaded yoke, you don't know. Like, it's very difficult to compare a real-world flight control feeling to a non-force feedback yoke in a sim. And I'm not sponsored by any force feedback companies. I wish I was. I tried to get Bruner to jump on board years ago. But that's kind of the reality of it. And to add to that, if I made my Bruner have the same force as the actual 737, my desk would be all over the place. I would have to drill my desk to the floor, because the amount of force that you're actually using in the real airplane is more than and I have a big L-shaped desk. I would have to secure my desk to the floor. So we can split hairs and talk about, flare this and flare that. It's not going to be realistic. You can try to get it close, where the movement, where like you're still moving the yoke semi the same, but it doesn't feel the same. Like, when I rotate the 7.3, you really have to use two hands. You don't have to use two hands, but it's much more, especially in gusty conditions, you almost have to have two hands on the yoke during rotation because of the force required and the maneuvers you do. Now, once I get up to like positive rate gear up, I can pretty much I put one hand on the thrust levers, and then I'm flying with one hand. But that first 500 feet, I mean, you're really manipulating the yoke. It just, with a spring-loaded yoke, you can do it with one pinky finger. So that's just where I stay. Now, where it is kind of cool is the Airbus in particular, right? Since the Airbus doesn't have any tactile feel, this, I think, is a cutout where you can actually get very close. So, for instance, remember I went down the whole side stick ordeal. I was trying to find the most realistic side stick, and I eventually settled on the Warthog base, with an Airbus grip, and then I eventually settled, and then I talked about the Verpal and the VKB with the cam system, which were like the second best, but nothing was really almost identical. Now we have the Moza and force feedback side stick bases. It's almost identical. I mean, it is almost identical. So then you can really attack the flight model on an Airbus and say, hey, this is not doing what the real Airbus does, because I have the same stick feel as the real airplane, so the airplane should react. I feel it's easier to get a more realistic Airbus feeling in the sim than it is a yoke aircraft. Captain Canada says, my buddy flies the Max, came over, used my Thrustmaster yoke, was all over the place. I believe it, man. And the Max is actually more docile than the NG. I love the Max. I had no idea that I would love the Max as much as I do. I mean, the 737 Max it hand flies 3 times more different than the NG than the Airbus flies to the Neo, than the CEO to the Neo. Like the CEO to the Neo, it almost feels identical, right, in terms of feeling, because you have no tactile feedbacks. Sometimes you feel it in rotation or in flare mode is a little bit different, right, depending on if you're in a XLR or a Neo versus CEO, or if you have E-rudder, right? Sometimes you can tell during landing. But overall, Airbus is pretty much, it feels the same. The 7.3, however, NG to max, there is a noticeable difference. And it's not like the NG is bad. It just, the only way I describe the NG hand feeling is just kind of blocky. You know, you're kind of driving a truck with the NG. With the max, you're driving a Cadillac. You're driving a Cadillac with the 7.3 Max, and it lands so much better. Sam, do you agree? Do you think the Max lands better than the NG? I think the Max so much more forgiving. I love landing flaps 40 with the Max. I feel like it's the perfect combination of drag. Flaps 30 with the Max feels like it's easier to float to me. But that's my little spiel on that. So when you say what's most realistic, it's unless you have force feedback, man, it's very difficult to chase the physical feeling. Now, you can chase the physical movement with sensitivity curves, absolutely. You can chase the physical movement of the yoke. Somebody commented on one of our L10 streams, I think it was one of the first ones I did, and he said, you know, the way your yoke is moving, but the airplane is just slower to react. That's how it feels in real life. That's how it was in real life. And the 7.3 is the same way. When you're battling a crosswind, man, you got to move that yoke around. If you just have a regular spring-loaded yoke, you don't really have to move it around all that much because you're immediately getting that response. With force feedback, you can really tamper that out. And you can get that dead zone. You can customize linearity settings with speed windows and things like that. So like from 0 to 180 knots, I could have a much more non-linear curve in pitch and power. Then as I get faster than 180 knots, I can get more, right? So you get a lot more customization with force feedback. I do think it is the future. I'm very excited for what wind control is going to bring. I really want one of those Boeing yokes, man. I'm not going to pursue the Moza just because I know what Windwing has coming out here. But if you had to pick right now between Moza and Brunner, someone asked in the chat, I would go Moza just because I feel like they're more up to date. Their software is a little bit more it's not a little bit, it's a lot more user friendly than the Brunner software. So I would go Moza now if you can't wait. But for me personally, I'm waiting for Windwing's Boeing yoke. You can see here I leveled off the vertical speed here a little bit as we get ready to level. Let's see how she does. This airplane has been a little bit hit or miss with the leveling and the cruise here. Sam says I've done one turn in the max, so I don't know. I will say flaps for the NG is very unforgiving. I think we gotta move the time over so it's real. All right, we're gonna go real time. This is gonna mess up our level off. I tell you what, I'll go real time vodka as soon as we level. I want to see how she handles. I'll go real time as soon as we level off vodka. I wanted to have that rain there for departure. I have the Moza AY210. Really enjoy flying with it. Easy use. They have a lot of profiles on the Discord. That's awesome, Putzia. Yeah, Moza sent me the AB9 base, the side stick base, and I thought I did it justice. We made a lot. We still make profiles for it. Vodka's got it. We put a lot of time and work into the profiles for the Moza AB9 base. Really differentiating between like a Neo side stick and a CEO. So let's go ahead and select an auto throttle speed of 290. See what that gives us. Auto throttle engaged. I think thrust management will just give us, you can't modify the cruise. It'll give us 8.3. I don't want to really slow to 8.3. Let's see what 290 indicated is here. Let's see what 290 gives us. I got it to level great with TM nav. Haven't tried vertical speed. All right, diabetic lad. Good. No, this leveled pretty good right here. So you got to remember, and I don't know if this is true with the L10 because it is, it was first certified auto land airplane. Some of these older autopilots, especially in vertical speed mode, even in IAS mode, you've got to pay attention to your vertical speed as you get ready to level. If you're climbing out at 3,000 feet a minute and you hit the 1,000 foot to level off, the aircraft is going to have a hard time leveling off. Now, a modern day NG will not. Maybe a tiny bit, but these older airplanes, I would wager that that is more accurate behavior than it is a quote-unquote bug. All right, so we're leveling here at 360. This might mess things up here. Let's go live time. Live time, live weather. The winds are going to shift here a little bit. Things are going to get wonky. I'm going to correct 200 feet. Take a look at our fuel panel. How we looking? 15.1. We're burning down. We're getting close. We want to get these equal here. So we want to be about 13.9 across the board. And then we'll get our main boost pumps on. How's our passengers doing in the back? 60 degrees. Do we need to open the isolation valves? Oh, geez. Maybe that's it. Look at that. See that? Okay, we need to have the isolation valve open. Gosh, duh. Let's see here. Let's go mid-cabin. Let's go forward cabin 12 o'clock, mid-cabin in the middle, aft cabin in the middle. I mean, it's 65. I mean, that's just a little bit cold. Why is RAM and auto? I believe that's normal. I don't know. I still feel like this is trying to give us temperature C. Pack inlet, compressor discharge, ACM discharge, hot manifold. Go pack 2. ACM discharge is pumping out 30 C air. Forward cabin is cooling down, a flight station. Forward cabins are warm. I guess you can't really get it above 65 degrees. So the passengers will have, I mean, for 65 degrees for you Chicagoans, it's not bad. Captain Canada's from Canada. We're basically in Canada. It's off this wing here, somewhere down there. 65 degrees, these guys would be sweating back there. Any tips for finding the data to fill out the data on the screen? Sadkin, you're talking about the PMS? Absolutely, my friend. I can show you. So the PMS, when you're climb perf or takeoff perf, the biggest trick, and they don't really tell you this here, you have to reset the GMT time or else you won't be able to enter the next values. So when this is all blanked out here, you got to just hit GMT, put in the time. Once you put in the time, then you'll be able to enter your gross weight, fuel, and SAT. All those values will be on your paper flight bag. Go to your, I loaded a load sheet, and here you go, your gross weight and your fuel weight. You'll put those values in the PMS, and then you'll have to put the SAT, which on the ground, we're just going to worry about the OAT. When we took off, it was 3C. That'll be on the takeoff data card. You can get it on the METAR, whatever it is. All right? So you put that in there. So now you've got your basic PMS takeoff data. But again, I want you guys to remember the PMS isn't really talking to anything, well, unless you're using VNAV, then it would be. But you don't even really need the PMS if you have your takeoff data card. We kind of got redundant information here because the PMS is going to give you the same. Okay, it's going to give you 0.633. It's going to give you your climb EPR, right? This gives you flaps and trim. So you got some redundant information, but where it will help you out is when you go to forward and you go to flight setup, and we're going to talk about our descent altitude and distances here. Your climb, optimum climb. So we actually need to set in our climb altitude. I don't think we ever set it up. Our cruise, we're going to cruise at 360, insert. All right, so now our TOD is working. It's counting down, 422. All right, you got to have your actual cruise altitude in there. Your cruise power settings, you cannot modify these. So I don't know if that's real behavior of the PMS, but I believe there is a cruise manual page in the real PMS system that is not implemented here. So you're stuck with, if I were to put on thrust management mode, so when you look at this panel, you have two, think of it as two independent systems. You have an auto throttle. This is going to command whatever this speed is here, barring that you're not in AOA mode, which we'll save for a different discussion. When you have AT on, all your thrust levers care about is this speed. All right? It does not talk to the pitch. If I have 290 knots here selected, and I select a vertical speed down of 1,000 feet per minute, my thrust levers are going to reduce because they're just going to focus on 290 knots. Okay? They're not talking to each other necessarily. If you're in IAS mode, if you select IAS mode and you're in auto throttle mode, you get yourself into trouble because you gotta be careful if you run out of the window on the physical thrust position. So like if you selected a 330 knot climb out and your auto throttles are at full power and you're in IAS 330 mode, if you can't get 330 knots, what's the airplane going to want to do? It's going to want to lower the nose to stop climbing. So you got to kind of be careful with that. I like auto throttle for cruise because it allows me to select the exact speed I want to fly. Now there is no Mach changeover button, so at 290 indicated, I'm almost doing 8.6 Mach here, which is pretty good. If I were to select TM, it's going to slow the aircraft down to about 8.3 Mach. Right? But I'm going to maintain us in auto throttle mode. The en route descent function, I'm not sure the purpose of that right now, but your bottom of descent or your top of descent calculator is based on your flight setup. So how do you set up your TOD in the L10? Well, there's two main ways that you can go about this. If you're going to fly a star that has multiple vertical waypoints, you need to select that first waypoint that has a restriction. That first waypoint that has a restriction, you need to know how far that waypoint is from the destination. You take that distance, subtract it from the total route distance, and that becomes your top of descent, or your bottom distance. That may sound confusing. I think it sounds confusing just saying it, so let me give you a much easier way to go about this. The number one window that you really want to hit, let's check our fuel system. Close enough, let's get them all on. Tank pumps are all on, cross-feed valves are closed, we're balanced, we'll go tank to engine.
Flight deck and I'm confused.
So, the most simple way to set up a basic top of descent in this airplane. Most every airliner, if it passes through one window, a vertical window and speed window, you will always be on time for your descent going into your airport. That window is 30 miles from the airport at 10,000 feet at 250 knots. I don't care if you're flying a 747. I don't care if you're flying a Citation 550. Now, 550, you're so slow. That's a bad example. I don't care if you're flying a Lear 35 or a 747. If you cross 30 miles from the destination at 10,000 feet at 250 knots, you're pretty much golden. The problem with this rule is most modern airports have you coming down these vertical navigation arrivals, where if you're really trying to be accurate in the L1011, you're not going to file an RNAV arrival that has those vertical waypoints. You just don't file it. You put it in your sim brief as, I'm not RNAV capable, and that sim should honor that. They have to give you vectors. Some airports do not, or some airports have a non-RNAV arrival, and then you're good to go. You can file that arrival. So, going back to how do we calculate the easy mode, I take that 30-mile window. This flight was 700 630 miles from Boston to Chicago. So I know 30 miles from Chicago minus my 730 mile route would be 700 miles. So I just put 700 miles here. You modify this, 700 miles. Now for me, on this particular flight, I'm lying to you, the route distance was actually 750 miles. I added 20 miles because I'm streaming and we're going to get talking and I'm probably going to get behind. So if you want to give yourself more time, bump that window up 50 miles. All right. So in today's example, I'm lying to you, the route was actually 750 miles straight line distance. So what I did is I took 50 minus 750 and I put 700 right here. The altitude I want, 10,000 feet. Bottom speed I want, 250 knots. Done. You program those three things. Now you're going to have a rough TOD waypoint. All right. Now you could also look at, okay, if you have your map display screen option on, you can cross-reference the TOD on your SimBrief flight plan with the waypoint that is associated with TOD, and then you can cross-reference it that way. But the map display screen was actually, I don't think anybody in the US had the map display screen. I enjoy it. I'm super glad that AnyBuilds included it. I think it's a great add-on. But I believe Saudia was the only one that had the map display screen. Be aware BOD doesn't go above 999. There you go. That's good to know. It doesn't go above 999. So if you are doing a super long haul, you're going to have to adjust as accordingly, as Diabetic Lad said. I didn't know I signed up to learn Chinese this afternoon. Oh, come on, man. Captain Canada, you got to fly this plane, man. I think you will really appreciate it. You love the MD-11. In terms of hand flying, dude, this thing it's very, very nice. And honestly, I know there's a lot of people that see this box and they're like, oh, I don't want to mess with that. And I mean, I get it. XP72 doesn't want to mess with it. What AnyBuilds did, though, you don't have to mess with it. You go to OFP, you send to FINS, you can literally send your whole flight plan to the box. You don't have to program it. It'll program 9 waypoints, and then after you hit waypoint 9, it will auto-load the next 9 waypoints, and you're cooking. It's just like having an FMS. The way AnyBuilds allows you to import it straight from SimBrief, it's a one-button push. The only thing you got to do is program your initial position on the ground. And that's always going to be your first waypoint here. You can just put your Boston, there's your coordinates right there. You just put those in the box, and there you go. You're done. Now, we talked about at the beginning of the stream, technically the real-world procedure would be to find the actual gate coordinates. Where was it? Parking gate coordinates right here. So parking gate coordinates, if you want to be super hardcore, and we were parked at Charlie 21, there's your coordinates for Charlie 21. But again, 1979, 10 miles was the standard, 5 miles was extremely close. So it's not 5 miles between Charlie 17 and Charlie 22. If you put in the wrong coordinate here, you're not going to be off by anything that's noticeable. So the way AnyBuilds has allowed us to just import like that, I think that's pretty huge. I think that's pretty huge because the airplane does fly so nice. It really does fly nice. It's very unique. It's a true feat of engineering. I mean, the L10, what Lockheed accomplished was just insane that they accomplished this when they did. It's still pretty loud out there. It's so bright out there. I don't even want to sit out on that view. We'll sit on the wing view for now. You know what, Friction Mafia? I've been seeing so many guys fly that CSS 7.3. I'm tempted. I don't know if I want to stoop to that level, though. I don't know if I want to stoop to that level. Fly USMC, what's up? Thanks for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. It says, Semper Fi, great to see you back at the helm again. Thank you, Fly USMC. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Very kind of you, man. Appreciate you. Hope all is well. Hopefully you got your bleed panel figured out in the 7.3. We'll be streaming the 7.3 here soon enough. We might sneak a max stream in. When are they going to drop that service pack update? Excuse me, I sneezed. I really want to fly the Max again. I missed Fernando. I missed your 17 months milestone chat, dude. Appreciate you. Says V1 and Captain Canada, both GOAT FS streamers, in my opinion. Hey, man, very kind of you. Thank you, Fernando. Appreciate you, dude. I remember watching Captain Canada years ago when I wasn't even thinking about going on YouTube yet. I was in a hotel room on an overnight in Jacksonville, Florida. No, Tallahassee. Is it Tallahassee? Yeah, Tallahassee, Florida. I was on an overnight, and I'm bored. Not much to do in Tallahassee. Was I in Tallahassee? I was somewhere in the Panhandle. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But I was on YouTube browsing, and he was flying. What was the Airbus before Tolas came out? What was that free one on not free, on X-Plane 11? There was an Airbus on X-Plane 11 that was like the JAR, was it the JAR design? I think it might have been the JAR design Airbus. JAR design, that's the one, yeah. The JAR design Airbus. And I'm like, oh, I fly Airbus. Let me see what this Airbus is all about. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then that was it, man. Rest is history. Rest is history. No, it wasn't the Flight Factor. It wasn't the Flight Factor. It was before Flight Factor. It was JAR design. Here's our podcast. What's bad about the CSS 7.3? I know nothing about it. I mean, Friction Mafia, from what I've heard, well, Classic Jet Sim Pilots here. Don't do it. CSS, it's got ways to go before big stream ready. I mean, it looks like it's not that bad, CSS, right? A Classic Jet Sim Pilot, right? I mean, Flightbox to Sim Fluid. How did his stream? I didn't get a chance to catch his stream, but I did see that he posted it. I saw the thumbnail that he was going to fly the CSS 7.3. I feel like I need a Classic 7.3, man. Seth says, V1, I'm just letting you know you inspired me to get you my PPL. Dude, that's awesome, Seth. That's very cool, man. Very, very cool. Who's the dumbest trying to fly 320? No, it wasn't that at all. I didn't really know, like, that flight sim, because I had flight simmed on my own, but like as far as on YouTube, and then shortly after I stumbled upon Q8 Pilot. And I remember Q8 Pilot, when I finally decided that, hey, I want to make videos on the Airbus, because I first started out just making the tutorials. I saw Q8 Pilot doing it was like a 10 tips to make your X-Plane 11 realistic. And I started, because I was still flying FSX and P3D. And I said, man, you know what? Q8's X-Plane looks really good. This Captain Canada guy has an Airbus on X-Plane 11. Maybe I should give it a shot. And then I started a little tutorial video series, and then it became, well, hey, I got to prepare for a check ride. I'm going to do this on my computer, and I'm going to record it at the same time. And then it became, well, I don't have time to edit videos anymore, so now I'm just going to live stream. All right, so going into Chicago, we do not have... We do not have an arrival that takes us this direction. 1, 2, 3. I don't believe we have waypoint 4, which is the destination. And we need to do that. So let's put in the destination. We're going to add a waypoint. We're going to add the airport reference point of Chicago. So to do this, I'm going to go to waypoint 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go to waypoint 4, and we're going to put the airport in there. So Chicago is north 41586. North 41586. Insert. And then we need the west coordinate. West 087 087545. Verify before I smash that. 087545. Insert. Alright, so now waypoint, it'll cycle to waypoint 4 after waypoint 3. That'll take us to the destination. So what's interesting about Chicago is there is only one arrival that is a non-RNAV, which I find strange. The only non-RNAV arrival in Chicago, and it takes you east, and I don't even have it on here. Oh no, there it is, Janesville 1. But it only approaches from the west, so it doesn't do anything for us. So we cannot fly the Janesville 1. So that means we're going to have to come up with our own way of getting into Chicago. Let's take a look at the METAR, see what's going on. KORD. 100 at 7, oh, jeez, 2.5 miles, missed, broken at 500. 100 at 7, so we're probably landing runway 9. So, or east rather. So let's go to the airport layout. Let's land 10 center. That's the plan. We're going to shoot to the south and we're going to land 10 center. So I'm going to go to approaches. I'm going to plan ILS 10 center. We'll do it off the 2-3 chart. Not that it really matters. We'll do the ILS Cat 2, Cat 3, 10 center. Now, unfortunately, there's really nothing on this that allows us to track. We may have to track outbound. Actually, we could track to DuPage. So what we're going to do, since there's no ATC and there's no star, what we're going to do is we're going to track direct to the field until I can pick up this DuPage VOR, and then we're going to fly to DuPage, and then we're going to kind of give ourselves a right pattern, right downwind base final. So there's a couple things we need to set up. First, let's see if we can't set up DuPage 1455 in the Freak. We'll have that 1455. We're still a ways out, probably not going to pick it up. But then we also need the ILS Logue Freak, which we'll put in the second officer, or first officer rather, 10895. We'll have him ready to go. 10895. He's ready to go on his side. Final approach course 093. I'm going to set up the FO side so I don't have to pull up the chart again when it's time. He's still on radio nav. So 093, 10895. They are on normal mode. That looks good. We're going to track to the DuPage VOR, and then we'll switch over. What you could do is you could take a DuPage, put it into SimBrief or SkyVector, get the coordinates, and then load up DuPage if you want to. But I'm going to just try to do it old-fashioned way. You could even technically go over Chicago in our INS mode and then flip to the localizer frequency, track outbound on the localizer, and do a procedure turn. You could do it that way too, but we'll see if we can't give ourselves some self-vectoring. Minimums, we're going to set an alert height. We're going to be Cat 2 only, 100 feet rad out. Feet on the rad out is set. Pappy's on the left. Alsif, if we have to go miss, we'll go 4,000 out to Chicago Heights VOR. That's fine. 669 on the touchdown zone. From Gibbons, RDAV1 GPS required. So, again, SimWorld, do whatever you want. You can fly this on VATSIM RNAV1 and be legal by turning off INS drift. If you have INS drift on, the lowest RNAV you can get to is RNAV 5. You'd be able to fly RNAV 5 and RNAV 10. If you turn off INS drift, go to the menu, aircraft, INS drift off, you will be 100% legal to fly RNAV-1 on VATSIM. And honestly, with INS drift off and sim brief import, you could probably fly even lower than RNAV-1. But do so at your own risk, because you're going to have to really be on it in terms of accuracy and flying the needles. But if you were, let's say you were on a network and they were online right now and you needed to fly this approach, and you did not denote that you are not RNAV-1 capable in your filing of your flight plan, just turn INS drift off, and the aircraft, the L1011, is capable of RNAV-1 here for mini builds. It says GPS 1 or radar required for procedure entry, you know, DME or radar required. So if you had ATC online, technically you would have radar online. You wouldn't even have to be RNAV-1. All right. So we don't have to worry about anything else. We got our alert height, pretty simple to set up. I've got the 108.95 on the FO side, 093, tower at Ray. Mr. Chicago will be in the house. Once we go to the airport, hopefully we'll start picking up DuPage. We'll see that here when the VOR1 needle picks up. You can tell, though, we are quite a ways to go. We're 227 miles out from waypoint 3. If I go to my flight plan here, waypoint 3 is Carlton. And if I look at that, there's still 95 miles after Carlton to go to the airport. So we're probably close to 300 miles from that VOR. So yeah, we're not going to be picking it up anytime soon. But I love the paper flight bag. I really like this thing. Turn it up a little bit now that it's gotten. But that is so cool. We'll have to go. We'll do on our long haul. We're going to go over all this. I wish I could write on this. So what's funny is, real world, we print this out. We still do our fuel hacks and everything, just pretty much off of this, just like it is. Alternate to Indy route. We're not too worried about that. 186 miles to Indy. So, all right. We're set up. I'm going to put you back on this page. I'm going to hide you. We are cloud surfing right now. Seatbelt sign off. Seatbelt sign off. You're free to move about the cabin. Fuel is looking good. We overburned it a little bit. Overburned it a little bit. You do need to lead it a little more than I did. How are our temps doing? 65 degrees, about as warm as I can get it in here. Flight station. Nice and cool. Yeah, the zone temps are way low. I don't know. I still almost believe that this is in Celsius, and the gauge is in Fahrenheit, and they are confused about how to code that, because that makes sense. When you are in U.S. Freedom units, this loads in kilos. When you load in kilos, this loads in pounds. So there's definitely some confusion on the Indian build side about conversions. Cabin tour? Let's do it. No vodka, we're not going to 9 left. All right, welcome to the United 9er left, or United livery here. Little projector screen, what you know about that? If you were born in 2000, you probably don't even know what that is. Life vest under seat. Love it. Send us to the lounge. To the lounge we shall go. You know what's really cool is there's a couple videos on YouTube, TriStar Experience videos. And it looks just, I mean, the way they have set up. So the TriStar Experience used to be a PSA bird. And then I think, did it go to United, actually? It was a PSA bird at one point. There was 2 PSA birds with the smiley face nose. And the TriStar Experience was one of them. And there's a video of the guy on YouTube that's going to do the TriStar Experience. And it looks just like this. I mean, the L1011 was one of the few airplanes where when you're on it, you could forget that you're on an airplane. It was that luxurious and spacious, and it was a top-of-the-line comfort, quiet cabin, just awesome experience. But then oil crisis and politics get in the way. The Europeans can't get the RB211 right, saboteured Lockheed. And that was it. DC-10 hit the market, took all the orders. There you go. That's why there's still MD-11s flying. But believe it or not, the L1011 outlasted both the DC-10 and the MD-11 because all MD-11s are grounded. There's one L1011 still airworthy. So the L1011 is the king. I really hope that any builds will do well enough on this product that they will make the 100 variant, the Dash 1. 15 feet longer. This galley, I believe, was only on the longer variant, if I'm not mistaken. From what I was told, the 500 didn't have that galley. But the fact that they already have it modeled, come on. Now, I have heard many stories about the lower galley on T-Way L1011s. I have flown with some people that have told me many stories about the lower galleys and the activities that would occur in the lower galleys. Back then, sign me up, long haul all day, baby. Now in 2026, nah, I don't want to be in an airplane for that long. The crew bunk on a 787 looks like a coffin. I'm not even joking. I've been on more 787 crew bunks and jump seats than I care to admit right now. I got more 787 jump seat time than I do 73 time probably. And it's just not for me, man. Not for me. Here is going into the mid galley. So when we are powered up at the gate, oh look, this is the elevator right here. Right? That's the elevator, send things up and down. That's so cool. This galley is unpowered at the gate. We power 1 and 3. Help the flight attendants out, so they got 1 and 3. Back to Econ. Were those Spicy Stories V1s? They were. Some were. Now what's funny is, hold on, I gotta find the picture. So I found some tickets at ATA. We're gonna do 2 flights. Where's my phone? Hold on. I really want to do a long haul to Hawaii. I really want to do it tomorrow night. I don't know. I really want to do a long haul to Hawaii tomorrow on an ATA L1011. LA to Honolulu. No, Zippy. I believe we're gonna go Phoenix to Honolulu, Zippy. So I had a summer trip. I found the itineraries. We went Phoenix to Honolulu, ATA L1011. I don't know if Whiskey Throttle is working on making the livery, but the big wave livery. I even ordered the 1 to 200 model of the ATA L1011 with the big blue wave, the big kahuna. That's loud outside. So we flew Phoenix to Maui. I have to check. I'm going to check. And then I did Hawaiian Airlines Inner Island. We went from Honolulu to Maui or Maui to Honolulu. I can't remember. And then we took ATA from Honolulu to San Francisco. And then America West, San Francisco, back to Phoenix. So we're going to relive that summer of 89 tour, whatever it was. But I wanted to see, hold on, that's what I was looking up. I wanted to see what seat number I had on this picture. I have to find the other one, but this one will do for now. Gate 29, 24, HJK. So those were middle, and then 24. So I got to go to row 24. HJ, yeah, here we go. Row 24. HJ. Look at that. See, I learned my lesson. This was on the return leg. So the first flight out, my first time on an L1011, I chose to sit. I was like, well, I'm used to 7.3, so it's got to be right around this row here. And I sat down, and I looked out at the wing, and I was like, oh my gosh. I told this story. I was like, I cannot believe how wide this wing is. This is not the view I wanted. So for the return flight, I made sure to come back a few extra rows, and I wisely chose row 24HJ. Boom, right there. That's how we flew on the return flight. Because back then, you didn't have the fancy like cabin layout. It showed you where the wing routes were. You had to kind of guess. So I just assumed by my 737 knowledge that row 20 or 19 would be good enough. Not on L1011. The wing is too fat. So there we go. (160) TOD 200 miles in this. All right. We are going waypoint 2 to 3 still, so we're looking good. I'm gonna try to go outside view for a little bit. Enjoy. I'll turn the audio down. Is it less when I turn? Nope. So that's only internal audio. So I really got to turn it down. Is that still loud for you, or is that doable? Alright, I'd take whatever seat just to experience a flight in this bird, just not the lavatory. Yeah. Lavatory is very loud, though. Very loud. How'd you get the seat you really wanted in the old days from the desk, I guess? Yeah, so you had to tell them when you called reservations. Friction Mafia, when you called reservations, that's how you did it. You had to call. And you would tell them. And my mom would, I remember she asked me, she's like, so what seat do you want? And what's interesting is on our flight out, I think... Or I have another, I don't know if it was the same trip, but I have another ticket from an ATA flight. And it showed seat open. So I wonder if that meant like at the gate you got to pick, or you just walked on and picked a seat. I don't remember, man. Back in the golden age of flying when it was good. But yeah, you normally got the seat at the ticket counter. I remember curbside check-in was a big deal. Hit the like button if you remember curbside check-in. You had to skip the lines. Sky cap. Can I get a sky cap? Old sky cap out front. They take your bags, check you in, give your tickets. You're like, all right, good to go. Smoking or non-smoking? Exactly, AJ. Smoking or non-smoking? The middle contrail shoots downward? It does. I can see now here. But does it shoot downward in real life? I don't know. Would it shoot downward in real life? I really don't know. Good luck finding an L1011 contrail. I feel like it's sitting at a lower... at a steeper angle because it's in the back of the airplane. So if you think about it, that would be accurate because the deck angle is what, 4 degrees nose up? The engines on the wings are going to be higher than the exhaust on the tail. The tail is going to have the absolute most angle downward in cruise flight. So I actually think that is correct. Until proven otherwise, all you Builds haters are going to have to eat that one because I actually think that's correct. If you show me a contrail of an L1011 in real life at this angle, then I'll change my mind. Curbside check-in still exists, at least at a certain company. That's true, yeah. Who would get the lounge seats? Ultra first class, VIP, or something else? You know what, Swim and Climb? I don't know, actually. I don't know. All I know is I never got lounge seats. Did you try the MD-11? Captain Icelander, I did. I do have the MD-11. And we were talking about it a little bit earlier. Like, I want to love the MD-11 more. I think the soundscape in the MD-11, there's two things that come to mind when I fly the TFDI MD-11. The soundscape seems soulless to me. It's better than it used to be, and there's one engine that has a better engine sound than the other. That's my problem number one. Number two, the cockpit is like, it feels too grayed out to me. And I don't know if that's just the way the MD-11 is, but like, look at this cockpit. Look at the ultra high contrasting, the glass on the, like, I feel like I can come in here and touch these flight director bars, you know? The colors are great. The flight engineer panel, I know the MD-11 doesn't have a flight engineer panel, but it just, the texturing is awesome. I mean, look at that. It just, it's really good. The MD-11, I feel like it just feels kind of flat gray. A little flat gray. So I think the combination of the sounds needing a little bit more life and the grayed out cockpit kind of turn it off for me a little bit. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy it. I think TFDI has done a good job. I like the systems. That last big update they did externally looks wonderful. And I will say this, a really good custom livery goes a long way on that airplane. So I downloaded the Pan Am freighter. Someone did it by commission on Flight SimTO. You can go download it. It's free. There's a Pan Am freighter in the cheat line livery and then the all aluminum. I'd use the cheat line livery, and the texturing, there's some additional texturing on the wings, and it looks really good. So I know by custom livery, like, there's some really, really talented livery painters in this community that take these airplanes and bring them to the next level. I know that's possible with the MD-11 because I saw it on that livery, and there's a couple other liveries that stand out as well. I think there's also some cockpit mods that you can do. But Zippy Zap, well, yeah, FS Cabral, his aluminum might be the best in the biz. He really makes the aluminum look good. The 727 livery on American that he did with the dirt and grime on the wings and flaps is fantastic. Best one out there. So I'm hoping that with the L1011 getting out to the market now a little bit longer, some of these livery painters will pick it up and bring their expertise and finishing touches, really spruce up what can be spruced up. So there's a Pan Am for the L10 as well. Yes, thrust set, but I believe it's just still the default one, right? Thrust set. I don't think there's a custom one yet. I'm hoping we get some more custom liveries. Not that the standard liveries are bad. This is a standard livery. I think they're all really good. It's just not like, there's some people that dedicate their time and life to just painting really highly accurate liveries, and they do custom maps and stuff for the wings and textures that take it to a whole nother level. So that's what I'm hoping we'll see with the L10, because the L10 had some of the best liveries, in my opinion, all across airlines, all across the globe. You think of all the different liveries that are out there for the L10. I think they all look so good. There's some really good, the old Hawaiian, and we have a lot of them in the INI Manager, but I'd like to see some custom guys get their hands on it. Before the L10 came out, you kept saying you would love one to be developed and released. Now here it is. Is there any other aircraft from the 74 to 400 is missing? I like the VC-10. Yeah, that's Swim and Climb. I'm right there with you. I cannot believe we're here where the L10 is out. I absolutely am in love with it, man. Childhood memories, nostalgia brings me back. I'm in love with it. But yeah, the 74 Classic is the next one for me. The 400 will be great. I'm sure I'll fly it, but the year of the classics, man. We got the L10. Bring me the 74-200. And if it's better than the Felis, then X-Plane 12 will go away for me. But right now, X-Plane 12 is on my system because of the Felis. Highball, thank you for the £5 donation, man. Appreciate you. Says, I remember flying Heathrow to BDA to Tampa on a British Airways TriStar. Ooh, painted in the Landor livery. My dad took me to the flight deck crew, stayed in the BDA in Tampa, and did Tampa as a shuttle. Nice. Highball, that's awesome, man. Love the stories like that. I love the I love hearing stories like that. There's been a lot of comments on some of these videos just like that, you know, telling stories of when they first flew on the L10, or mechanics or flight engineers that flew the L10. I love it, man. I love to hear it. The nostalgia for me, it just hits hard with the L10 and all these classic jets. Thanks to the super chat, man. Appreciate you. Pilot after my own heart, Mr. Randazzo's in the house. What's up, man? I have a photo of November 514, Papa Alpha, over the Golden Gate on her first flight out of the paint shop at Oakland after the buyout, hangs in my hangar office proudly. That is so cool. That is so cool, Mr. Randazzo. Hope all is well, man. I was just saying, this is the year of the classics. So, I cannot wait to see what pmdg is cooking. Beautiful livery there. I'm buying the L10 in April. Nice. So everyone is buying the L1011 so we get the Dash 1 variant, right? Aston flies. That's the plan. Everyone needs to buy the L1011 so we get more variants. Everyone needs to buy the L10. I just live for Delta Widget TriStar. Used to call it my plane as a kid after I flew on it. That's so cool, Flight Sim guy. There's some really cool Delta L1011 takeoff videos and window view videos on YouTube. Bring me the 73200. Wow, Mr. Randazzo says the 741 is really coming along nicely. My motivation for my bits is to exceed your expectations specifically. Oh boy, if I do that, we did it right. That is so cool. I am super excited, Mr. Randazzo. I cannot wait. My excitement is hard to contain, but the fact that we're gonna have a pmdg level product that's a classic. I mean, the only queen there ever was, the 7.4. I mean, there's no better. I love the L10, I love the Tri-Jets, but I still think the 7.4 takes the cake of overall looks of all airplanes ever invented. The 7.4 is hard to beat, so I'm super excited. You guys heard it here first. They're going to try to exceed the expectations that we have set for the 7.4 Classic. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait to fly it with Mr. Randazzo. He did say we were going to fly it together, so it'll be Mr. Randazzo and I flying a 7.4 in the mountains of Colombia. Maybe we should try to get that thing into Bogota or Quito or something. That could be exciting. I can't wait for it. Cannot wait. Did you watch the moon space launch? I did, man. That was very cool, Swimming Climb. I watched it on the taxi, and I was deadheading back from Liberia. And I watched it on a taxi. And only flew first class till I was out of college. Missed the passes. Yeah. Yeah. No Airbus brings me the vibes. Planes such as this do. That's just me. The Lemon Wolf. I'm with you, man. I think it has to do with. Age and just kind of like what you relate to, right? So if you're born before, it's probably 1990, right? Or like I could probably go 1995, because when did I think the last L10s were still? I think Delta retired theirs early 2000 or 99, somewhere in there. So you probably could have rode on one. But yeah, if you experienced the golden, I think the golden era of aviation was like from 1980 to 2005. If you got to experience aviation, you could even probably bump it up from the like 85 to 2005. Give it that 20-year window right there. It was just a whole different level, man. It's just a whole different level. I think Harsar better be the pilot flying. I think so too. Mr. Randazzo says, I've been flying in and out of Central South America all month. I looked down on San Salvador and thought of you and laughed. Oh, man. Yeah. It keeps sharp. Keeps sharp. Yeah, if every time I go down, I haven't been down there in a while yet. Well, actually, the closest I went was this last trip. I went down to Costa Rica, but yeah, I do have a history down there now. That is for sure. I'd say the golden age died when Northwest retired to classics. Yeah, you could. I mean, that's not unfair. I would include the late 60s, honestly. Mr. Martini, I'm not saying that I wouldn't include. I'm just saying, I mean, the late 60s, I mean, I didn't get to experience that. But I'm sure you could include that too. I mean, going into the jet age, can you imagine? Insane. His new favorite place is Liberia. Dude, Turks, if I never see that place again, it'll be too soon. Although the overnight was pretty nice. Super senior. I mean, I think the bid pack at Far Base, there was only one Liberia overnight. How lucky are we that we got canceled there? Dude, so I'll have to podcast it, but we sat in the airport for like 6 hours because customs wouldn't let us out because our ferry canceled. There was no record of our ferrying canceled. It was a whole ordeal, man. It was a whole ordeal. I did Turks yesterday, so I no-showed the one and then went back to here. But yeah, it was. The captain was on day 7, so he couldn't operate. I was on day off, so I was just, it was a mess, man. And we knew it would happen, so I got called out to fly on my last day of reserve. I got called out to ferry a 737 that had broke down in Costa Rica. And I guess it was the INSs weren't aligning or the IRS wasn't aligning. Basically, we had no PFD. The first officer had just had an attitude indicator. The speed out were in yellow, no windows or anything like that. And they fly us down to ferry it out, but we're at the gate getting ready to fly down, and there's a mechanic at the gate. Start talking to him. He's like, hold on, let me look up your tail number, see what the status is on it, because it was still showing out of service. And he's like, ooh, yeah, I hope they have a hotel for you because that airplane's not going anywhere. So it turns out that we show up to the airplane. It hadn't even been worked on it. The mechanics and parts were still flying down. They didn't get in until 2 hours after we got there. The company flew. Get this. I talked to the mechanic. Ironically, I was sitting next to the mechanic yesterday on the way home. He said they flew almost an entire 737 cockpit in parts down to this airplane to get it out. He said it's over. He's like, I don't know how many $1 million in parts they had to fly down. But they flew almost an entire 7.3 cockpit replacement, all the ADIRSs, a McDo, screens, flew all this stuff down to fix this airplane. We ended up not flying it out. It wasn't fixed for us. We timed out, and they had another crew do it. But yeah, it was a cluster, man. But it's funny. I was sitting next to the mechanic on the way out the next day. Captain Icelander, thanks for the 1,500 super chat, man. Appreciate you. Did you figure out the INS mock AP thing, or is that still strongly undated? Captain Icelander, what do you mean? The INS mock AP thing. So there's really nothing not correct per se. It's just I don't want to use it. So we talked about this earlier. So you have two modes here of the auto throttle on the L10. There's two separate modes. You have auto throttle, which is going to maintain a selected indicated airspeed. We're doing 290 knots. You cannot switch this to Mach hold. You have to see over here. So 290 right now is approximately what? Well, not approximately. It is about 859 Mach, right? Almost 86 Mach. I can adjust the auto throttle to maintain whatever speed I want. So if ATC is online, they're saying, hey, I need you to maintain 80 Mach. I'm going to have to dial this back until I get to 80 Mach. Real life PMS, I am almost certain there was a cruise manual page here in the PMS where you could modify this. But because we cannot modify the cruise page in the PMS, if I were to go to TM mode or thrust management mode, the auto throttle is going to spit out one factor, 83 Mach, 285 indicated, approximately. That's what the auto throttle is going to spit out. And I don't want to fly 83 Mach. I'm huffing along here at 86. So that's why I'm not in thrust management mode. But if you want to be in thrust management mode and then use it for VNAV, You could technically do that, but because I have a Brunner and I have too many issues already with the autopilot LVAR not being activated when the autopilot is on, which I don't know how, like, why not? Hopefully that's an easy fix. I don't know if that's, it sounded like it was an easy fix when one of the guys was talking in the Discord, but until that gets fixed, I have to really minimize what modes I use to begin with here. All right, here comes our altitude alert. We're going to switch over to waypoint 4, which is going to be our direct to here momentarily. Let's go ahead and watch the outside view. Let's watch the airplane turn in all her glory. Well, then we'll probably need to start down and start thinking about this approach. The reason I say late 60s flying was still special, people got dressed up. Oh, yeah, well, Mr. Martini. Dude, I got dressed up as a kid, and that wasn't even... I mean, when did people stop dressing up? Probably like after 9/11? Maybe after 2001? I remember as a kid, I would go to school with penny loafers and like kid slacks and a sweater vest because my mom was going to take me out of school early and we were going to go fly to the grandparents' house for spring break or whatever it may be. But yeah, I remember people dressing up until, I don't know when that stopped. Was it 2000-ish? But yeah, now people show up in questionable clothing to begin with. So, but you're absolutely right, man. It was a different vibe. It was treated as a privilege more so than a right. Yeah, and it's just kind of gone down from there. Echo 19, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. I was talking to you earlier, or I was talking about you earlier when we started the stream. I have watched so much L1011 content on YouTube, and every time I come back to this bird, man, I think you did an absolutely incredible job with this sound pack, Echo 19. You have preserved the history and the legend status of this aircraft in modern day flight simulation. So, I mean, give yourself a huge pat on the back, man, because I think you did an incredible job. Just from not even like the main stuff, like the roar, the growl is amazing. I love the takeoff. I love all that stuff. But something as simple as just sitting in window view at idle, that whine that I hear, I feel like I can hear the fuel being melted out of the fuel tanks with the engines running. Like, I feel like I can hear that with how you captured the sounds of this aircraft, man. So just huge congrats on it. I think it's a great success, the way you were able to capture the sounds. So, Echo 19 says, do you have a good contact? I had some cool stuff to share with an upcoming project we're releasing. Echo 19, I do, man. Definitely send me an email from my profile from YouTube. And just put in the subject line so I know who it's from. Just say your Echo 19, put it in the subject, and then I'll be able to pick it up. That'll be just go to my email, send me an email from there. Or if you're on Discord, you can shoot me a Discord DM. Odds that I see it and read it, 50-50. If you do it rapidly, I'll probably be able to do it before I stop streaming and I don't forget. I'm terrible with DMs, but I'm also getting terrible with emails as well. But, yeah, man, I would love to see what you got cooking. Echo 19 rules. Guess who we selected for the 747? Pfft. Well, there we go. I can't wait. Mr. Rondazzo. I can't wait. I think Echo 19 did a heck of a job with this airplane. It is really, really good. All right, we're approaching, so remember, our basic TOD that we set up was just a rough one, about 30 miles out. We're 184 miles from the field. So let's back it up with a standard 3-to-1 calculation. So we know Chicago is 600 feet. Let's just call it 1,000 feet for easy math. We want to be at 10,000 feet, so we need to be at 11, with 36 minus 11 is 25 times 3. And I want to add 30 miles on that, 105 miles out. We should start down roughly, which would be we're 180, 25 miles. So, I mean, we're pretty much this is pretty much onto our basic navigation. Now remember, our basic vertical nav planning. Remember though, I'm not flying a star with vertical navigation waypoints. If you are flying a star that has a vertical path, the way you're going to calculate your top of descent is take that first altitude restriction. And my suggestion is, if it's a window, say you're flying a star, the first window is between flight level 250 and flight level 290. My suggestion to you is to take that bottom window altitude, take the 250, use that as your anchor point to start your top of descent. And then from there, you're going to be doing 3-to-1 rules all the way down, checking yourself all the way in. That would be my recommendation on how you do a VNAV arrival with this airplane. And my recommendation above that recommendation is to not file those types of arrivals. DM sent. Excellent, man. I'll check it right now. I'm going to open it right now. I won't be able to respond, but I'm going to open it right now so I know that I got it. Give me a second here. Boom. Gotcha. Thanks, man. Ooh. Very cool. I'm not going to say anything. Wow. That's awesome, man. I'm going to check it out after stream. All right, I got you in the DMs, though, so you've made it past the window of spam DMs and failed contacts. O'Hare 8 is in for special 110 at 5, 3 miles missed. Ah, child's play, Team Vodka. 2971 down there, really? What's that in, was that 107, something like that? Keep an eye on that. So 166 miles. Let's go ahead and begin a shallow descent. So we get the sounds up a little bit. Actually, I'll turn noise cancellation off. Whoa. Welcome back sounds. Let's go ahead and dial in. Let's go ahead and, I guess, shoot, let's just dial in. I guess technically you'd be high sector first, right? So let's do 240. All right, now for me, I have to do some finagling here. So I'm going to go vertical speed. And down we go. We're going to scroll it in nice and easy. As we scroll down, since we're in auto throttle of 290, the airplane's going to want to speed up, so the thrust lever should start coming back here. The name of the game is should. There they come. Power's coming back. And we're coming down. 153 miles out, that checks. We're at TOD now. Down we go. And technically, what's the OAT? Where is the OAT gauge in this thing? Does the flight engineer have it? It's required equipment, so it's on the airplane somewhere. First one to find it gets a pre-release copy of the pmdg 74100. Just kidding. It's got to be on the main panel here. Ah, TAT gate. I found it first. -2. Oh, I'd have to convert that. Yeah, I'd say it's close enough. Let's get the engine heaters on, as we're going to be coming back at low power. One of the best deliveries is Air Canada Toothpaste 777, Friction Mafia says. Oh, yeah. Short skirts, Braniff had the stewardess outfits they would peel off sections of their outfit during the flight. Braniff, dude, Braniff was a different ball game of an airline, that's for sure. What was the tagline? It was like bold colors or something. I can't remember. I don't think I ever flew Braniff. Probably before my time. Mr. Randazza says, I'll arrange you a free copy. Excellent. I can't wait. All right. I guess we can run some perf as we get ready here. What is our current gross weight? How's our fuel doing? We went about 2,000 pounds past it. Last time... Let's run the crossfeed, see if it balances it at all. I don't think it will. The last time I messed with this, we flamed out an engine, so we're going to leave it as is. 2,000 is acceptable. We'll be on the ground. Current gross weight, 359.4. Let's go ahead and start cooking on this. Landing weight, let's call it 359 even. Landing elevation, we'll call it 700 feet. Conditions, wet, anti-skid on. We'll set and calculate, or calculate and set. VAP 152, we need 7,900 feet. We got almost 14,000 on 10 center, or 13,000 anyway. We got plenty of runway. 207, 187, 152 on the VAP. Go ahead and get off of that page if you want to hide it. Auto brake, remember, oh, don't want to turn the wiper on. We just torched that wiper blade. You cannot arm this until the gear down. Or I believe if you arm it and you lower the gear, yeah, nah, so you won't even let you arm it. You have to lower the landing gear first. We'll do auto brakes min. Auto brake min, we'll arm that until the gear down. United 357 heavy, continue descent, descend and maintain 14,000. Alright, 14 is set. 125 out, we're looking good. It's funny to think the free copies today. You can handle it to others, seconds not in the good old days, you know? I know, in the good old days, man, had to wait for the CD to come out. The DVD-ROM. I remember stressing when I, was it FF? Which flight sim first was on the DVD-ROM? That was FSX, right? Or was it FS9 that was DVD-ROM? I think it was FSX. Whichever one it was, I remember freaking out because I didn't have a DVD-ROM. I only had CD-ROMs. So I had to go get, I had to basically rebuild my PC for DVD-ROM. So maybe, but if it was both of them, Captain AB, then it might have been FS9 then. Because my first computer that I remember flight simming on, I did not have, but I had remember the CD booklets? Man, children of today will never, you have no idea what it's like to open a booklet of CDs. Installing 10 discs at a time. Yeah, 2004. FS9 was 10 CDs, yeah. Yeah, so that's right. So FSX was DVD with 4, yeah. And then you had the acceleration pack. Tower Ray, what's up, Joe Plains? How you doing, Mr. Chicago? Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well, dude. Floppy disk, AJ. Yeah. I'm old enough, I know, and I used floppies, but they were not, I don't think I gamed on floppy disks. I do remember the first time that I was tasked with updating the Citation 2 nav database with a floppy disk. I couldn't figure out how to put it in the freaking little holder thing. My buddy, he's a buddy now, Nick, with my captain at the time. It's like, oh, you damn kids, give me that thing. That's how we updated the nav data on the Citation, was floppy disk. Actually, I think some of the Airbuses still do, don't they? Captain Icelander, thanks for the 750s. Appreciate you, man. It says, so say you check out other sim tubers like 330 or Fabiano. 330 is real world pilot on 330. Yeah, I believe that's 7. I keep calling him 7.3 driver. Yeah, he's on the 330 now, right? Now, I don't really watch his stuff, though. It's not my flavor. Fabiano I watch. I don't have a lot of time to watch anybody, to be honest with you. If I watch someone, it's either I'm driving home or I'm cooking dinner and I got them on in the background. And it's either XP, Cap Canada, or Fabiano. It's pretty much the only three if I am watching. What about tape before floppy? I do remember having cassette tapes. I used to have little bedtime stories. I used to yell for my parents to come turn the floppy or turn the cassette tape around. Get the backside. Flight Deck to Sim, yes, Flight Deck to Sim if I can, but he streams, a lot of times because he's in Europe, he streams hours that I'm not really available to watch anything. Like he normally, most of the time when I see his stuff, it's like 9 or 10 a.m. my time. Zippy. He's UK. Well, same thing. Yeah, UK, man. A lot of the UK guys stream early for me. Oh, we know Europe anymore. Oh, that's right. Sorry, Zippy. Sorry, dude. My bad. My bad. Texas Magic, what's up, man, brother? I'm in the DFW area looking for a place to start working on PPL. Any suggestions? Man, there's a whole. Finding a flight school in Dallas is going to be pretty easy in terms of finding them. The ones that you want to go to might be a little bit harder, but I would start looking at. There's a major aviation academy in Denton, U.S. Aviation Academy in Denton. And then there's a handful out of, why am I drawing a blank on the airport just to the east of Dallas there? Why am I drawing a blank on that airport? Turks, what's the main corporate airport there by Love? A lot of flight schools. Addison? Yes, Addison. Addison. Go to career track, ATP flight school. First thing first, First things first, Texas Magic. What I would do is I would go do an introductory flight. So it's going to be like a 45-minute flight. We're going to set non-standard 2988 is set here. I would go do an intro flight first. Go do an intro flight. See what you think. See if you like it or not. See if it's something you might want to consider. Do an intro flight. Check out multiple different schools if that's their path that you're going to go to. Again, Addison and Denton are the two main ones that I have first hand experience with. Check them out, and then after that, work on getting a medical, private pilot license or a student pilot license, which will be your medical. And then from there, then you got more decisions to make. Or you want to go full time, part time, airline pilot track, whatever you want to do. But first step first, get that intro flight. Meacham, yeah, Meacham has a lot. Aviator Air. All right, we're at a 1085. We're at a 14.9. We're going to 14. Let's keep coming down. Let's be real Chicago. Let's get down to like 12,000 feet. We'll stay low right in the tops, bumpy around for 80 miles. Standard Chicago. I'm finishing bachelor's degree, but flight schools are quite expensive here in the EU. Yes. In general, flight schools are going to be expensive, but typically the EU is more expensive. That's why a lot of guys come over here and train. What's funny is Flight Deck to Sim and I, we trained like 20 miles from each other in Arizona. Uh-oh, Mr. Rondazzo said I sent you a photo of a 514 Papa in my hand. Oh, I gotta check it out, dude. I gotta check this out before we go down. Hold on. Oh, that is so cool.
O'Hare traffic, EVA 654, runway 09 left vacated, taxiing to southeast cargo
That
ramp.
is awesome,
O'Hare.
Mr. Rondazzo. Wow. With the Golden Gate Bridge in the background, that's an epic shot right there. Thanks for that, man. That's very cool. And that's a 500 too, right? Yeah. Wow. All right, here we go. I forgot to change the vertical speed. Let's see how she blasts through this thing here. Is she gonna cap it? She might actually cap it here. Let's see, 12-1. We're in altitude hold mode. Flying colors, yeah. Oh, frames are... No, it's not the frames, just the clouds doing weird things. Clouds are doing weird things. A real quality 7.4 will be awesome. It will be, man. Having man, we haven't had a quality 747 in Microsoft 2020 or 2024, so it will be huge, especially retro. I know y'all are pumped for the 400s and modern variants, but I am so pumped for the 100. I actually have a 1-100 7.4 100 model at home. Thinking about bringing it to the HQ. I'll definitely bring it to the HQ for PMDG release day. Alright, so we're level 12,000 feet. We're still cooking on the speed. Temps are +2s. Yeah, so we're still in the icing range. We'll leave the engine and IS on. Not much to see here. I wonder if we should try to dip below. Let's see if we can get down to 10,000 and get out of this. We'll trickle down. We're still a ways out. We got plenty of time. I originally was planning on landing landing west. Let's dial in 1,000 feet per minute. PMDG quietly updated 777 last week, and it was a massive update. Yes. So speaking of Captain Canada, the 777 update I got to check out. And also, I didn't know that the new FMC fans was in the 7.3 as well. So we actually have the updated FMC in the PMDG 7.3 too now, which I can use the I've got the WinWing 7.4 FMC, which is as close as I can get to the modern 7.3 one. So that'll be nice. We got to check out those updates for sure. I haven't flown the triple in a long time. Vodka says big changes to the Bruner profile too. Really? Okay, we'll have to look forward to it. Best forward speed. What's up, Cacao? Long time no see, man. Big news. Wife and I are expecting a little pilot come August. Dude, that is so awesome. Best forward speed. Congratulations, man. Big congrats, dude. Very cool. Very, very cool, man. They grow up fast. Everyone's going to tell you it happens fast, and as a father of 4, dude, I can 100% attest it does happen fast. I tell myself that every day, that it happens fast, because you're going to be in moments where you're like, this is insanity. But just remember, that moment is fleeting. And try to enjoy every bit of it. But congrats, man. AJ, thanks for the $3 soup chat. The only magenta in the cockpit, the CFO socks. Exactly. All right, 50 miles out at 10,000 feet. That is just how, remember I said on this stream I planned 50 miles out? Look at that. We're 50 miles out, 10,000 feet. Now, a skilled aviator could probably bring that into about 30 miles. You come in about 30 miles at 10,250, you'll be just fine. That's why we still got the speed up 290. But we also are landing on the opposite side, so we're gonna keep it fast. Chicago will bring you down low, though. I mean, 300 miles out, they'll bring you down to 14,000. So we're trying to simulate that here. Mr. Chicago says, I guess you... Oh, sorry, you're talking to someone else. 777 flies a lot better now. Also made the cockpit lighting more realistic. Really, Aston flies. Well, add that to the list of things we need to fly. Although, I think I'm still going to be L10ing for a while. I'm still hooked. I got to be honest with you. You know, being in a 7.3 for 8 hours, you know, 3, 4, and I come home, not too keen on the idea of jumping back into a 7.3 cockpit on the sim. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of why, even though we were an Airbus channel to start, I didn't typically fly the Phoenix or the Airbus like right after a trip. We always kind of flew something else. Gotta get out. Gotta change it up. Yeah, window textures are juice. I mean, this looks awesome right here, man. This looks really cool. Where to buy the L1011 and triple? So Lemon Wolf, the L1011 right now is on Marketplace. It is a Marketplace exclusive right now. At some point, it will go to AnyBuild's manager standalone. I don't know when that will be. The 777, you can buy it on PMDG's website. Right now, it's available. You get the PMDG 777. It's a fantastic airplane. The 777 is fantastic from PMDG. Flies a little bit too long of legs for me, so I don't fly it too much on the channel, but I do enjoy every time we get in it. I actually want to fly that. I saw the new Heritage livery that someone painted for the 300 on the Centennial livery for American. I want to take a look at that one because I saw that one taken off the other day at a DFW. Looked pretty cool. I'm building a 737 overhead. Alex, you know, I saw RTR Hobby had 7.3 overheads, and I hit them up. They actually, you know, asked me for some suggestions on the very early model of their overhead panel, and I gave them a couple suggestions, and they actually, I don't know if I was the only one that told them to do a couple things, but those couple things they did do, and it looks really good. I was hoping they'd send me one to review, but I haven't heard anything back from them. But I do know that there's overhead panels now for the 7.3, which is awesome. 737 overhead is better than the Airbus overhead for sure. Would you recommend the Tolis A340? I would, Arc. I haven't flown that since it's updated, but the hand flying the Tolis A340 in the sim was fantastic. We flew that into Skardu, which is definitely not an airport you'd want to take a 340 into, but hand flying that airplane, it's special, man. It flies really nice. Can we restart the Tour de Americas in the Duke? We probably will, Mick Oatmeal. Yeah, the VATSIM thing, the reason that was the main reason why that kind of ended, because everyone loved flying along with me. But we'll do it on Iveo now. I'll probably restart it on Iveo. Yeah, the windows are spot on, Mr. Martini. Look at that view, though. Let's see. Let's do the... This is the angle of Mr. Randazzo's photo right there. Boom. Is the Moza AB9 enjoyable? Yes, 100%. I love the Moza AB9. For flying Airbus, you can make it almost one-to-one realistic to how the airplane actually feels. You can also use the Moza AB9 for other aircraft, for yoke-driven airplanes too. So it's not just for Airbus, but if you only have one peripheral, if you're deciding on I either need a yoke or a side stick, and you can get the Moza, I would get the Moza because you can, with force feedback, you can really make it be anything you want it to be. Cathay Pacific L10 to Kitech. We're either going to do L10 to Kitech or ATA long haul on Friday. That's tomorrow evening. We'll see. I don't know if I can swing it tomorrow evening. I only have 48 hours off, and tomorrow's my son's birthday, so we may have to wait. This month is going to be tough on the streams because I bid my schedule in such that I'm not gone for more than 3-4 days at a time. But that means I only have 2 days off at a time, 2 days or 3 days off at a time. So makes it harder to stream. Interesting. We're picking up the localizer, but we're not picking up 1455. We did get that freak, right? DuPage. 1455. What about Chicago Heights? 14.2. We got Chicago Heights. That's way over there. Wow, look at the weather, though. We definitely have some stuff in front of us.
South runway 10.
Have all your Chicago trips been from Central America? Nope. No. My last Chicago trip was from San Juan, too. Oh my gosh, talk about a long freaking flight. And that was when they had that massive weather system. I think we blocked like almost 7 hours because we had an MEL. We couldn't go. We had to be in radar contact the whole way because something was broken. I can't remember. So we had to fly like along the islands, then up the coast, and then around the weather, then all the way up. We went almost all the way up to friggin' Boston before cutting over. It was a long flight, dude. Nope, these are default clouds, and they look absolutely amazing, don't they? Hey, we just started picking it up. All right, so here we go, chat. Time to switch our nav source. So I'm going to select heading, and I'm going to put the aircraft into heading mode. We're going to get rid of the INS. I'm going to flip the CDI from INS nav to radio nav. We're going to center the needle to DuPage VOR. We're going to track direct to the DuPage VOR. VOR mode on. VOR tracking, and we're going to start slowing down. Let's go ahead and select 250k knots. And we'll keep an eye on our Chicago waypoint. So I'm going to put this into manual, so it will not sequence. I'm going to put the distance and time. I'm going to leave this here. So waypoint 4, we're 19 miles from the field right now. I'm going to keep that there, basically holding it right there. We're slowing at 250 knots. Now, what we have to keep in mind is this DME will always be off the INS, which is interesting. I don't know if that's supposed to be that way or not. I thought if you switch to radio, you'd get radio distance here. But this is our current distance from the VOR. We're 30 miles out, and we're basically going to cross over the finals. We're going to stay high for a little bit until we are a little bit further past the field before we start dropping down. How long will it take to the point where you don't get screwed all the time on scheduling? Never. Never. I met up with the captain in Liberia yesterday. He's on his last year. He's been with the company 30 years, and he was absolutely livid about how bad he got screwed. So, but to each their own. Pilots always complain about something. You will never not get screwed by screw scheduling. That's why they're called screw scheduling. The amount of unpublished holds I've practiced on the DPA VOR. Nice. Do you think the FAA is decommissioning too many VORs? I think over-reliance on GPS is dangerous for Part 91 brothers. Mick Oatmeal, doesn't really matter what I think because they're going to do what they're going to do. But I will say that I'm a little bit surprised that they're decommissioning them as fast as they are. But I mean, we're on so much. There's so much GPS and everything going on now that, I mean, who isn't? You know, who isn't flying? Look at this cloud surfing situation here.
Chicago traffic, for the 10 center transition, Chicago here.
How far are you from Chicago?
0 runway back 88 13 cent. Version 10 cent.
traffic, EVA 654 crossing runway 10 center, O'Hare.
Lemon Wolf, no, I took it off for this flight. Chicago traffic, United 357 Heavy, 10,000 feet. We're about 5 miles to the east of the field. We're going to overfly at 10,000. We're going to set up for right traffic for runway 10 center, Chicago traffic. So this jives. This is about 5 miles from the Loke.
Distance half 430 crossing runway 10 left.
Final 093, so it'd be 273 would be the reciprocal. So we're pretty much flying downwind. You can actually see our little cheater position there. Let's go ahead and go back to heading mode. I'm going to try to vector myself. Let's go 240 on the heading. Try to set ourselves up with our own downwind. We should be clear. Let's go ahead and descend and maintain 8,000. 8,000 vertical speed. Go in here 1,000 feet per minute. 1,100 is fine. Kyla is 19 miles at 7. Cooper 22.
1338. We'll be turning right downwind for 9 center.
They just flipped the airport, Joe planes? Really? Hopefully not for us. Get the lights up. I kind of want to track, if we could track the 27. If we could pass the 273 radio off DuPage, that's pretty much a parallel downwind. We might try to auto-land this. I haven't tried to auto-land yet, but I haven't heard too many good things about the attempted auto-lands. We'll update the altimeter. 29er, 69er is set. Okay, so our waypoint just resequenced here. Went to 4 to 1. I want to track change 04. Insert. I want to hold it there. All right, let's go ahead and make that turn now. Roughly, let's call it 270 for now. O'Hare traffic, United 357 Heavy, 8,000 feet. We're on a right downwind for 10 center, O'Hare traffic. Autoland does not work. That's suboptimal. Let's come back to 210. Flaps 4.
Flaps 4.
Sounds are coming up. 230, flaps 10.
Flaps 10.
Let's keep it coming down, maintain 7,000. Autopilot, when you extend flaps, autopilot really gets upset with you. Alright, I think we're close enough. I know where we're at. Let's go ahead and select 108.95, nav 1, 108.95. And final approach course will be 093. $11 miles on the Loke, so we're kind of a beam Bruta. Yep, that checks. We'll see if we can't cut it in here by Kayla, right around 19 miles. Let's get a couple things up. I need my yoke up, so I gotta get ready to connect that. I also need flight recorder up. Flight recorder is up. The yoke is ready to be re-engaged. Yoke cam is on. – 14 miles now. Tell you what, let's cut this in. Let's go to 6,000. Basically Chicago ATC, United 357, so to maintain 6,000. What's up, Captain Minnesota? How you doing? I just ordered a dozen "If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going" t-shirts. He's not going back to Airbus anytime soon. That's funny, man. Look at that wing flex out there. That's pretty good. See, the wings do flex when you're
Air traffic, American
turbulence.
30 Heavy is on right base for
How far?
10 center.
How far out are you, American? Use your fancy glass screens to tell me how far you are.
Say 12 miles.
12 miles. So he's on a right base inside of us. Okay. Chicago traffic, United 357 Heavy. We're about 18 miles out. We're about to turn right base. We'll be turning base outside of you for 10 center. Over here, traffic. Alright, this might be a real tight turn. Let's go ahead and come back to 200 knots. And let's go ahead and start the turn. We might overshoot the final. We'll see. Might be a little bit too tight here. We'll see how it does. Oh, here, traffic United 357 Heavy out of 6,000 right base, 20 miles, 10 center right here. Swing, baby, swing. United 357, turn right, heading 070, intercept the localizer 10 center. United, that head is going to take you through the localizer, continue right turn, heading 120, rejoin the localizer, maintain 6,000 to establish, clear ILS 10 center, approach, maintain 210 on 200 knots. See? Who needs VATS? United 357, heavy reduce speed, maintain 180 knots. 180. Flaps 14.
Flaps 14.
United 357, heavy descend and maintain 4,000, maintain 180, total established on the ILS 10 center, put ILS 10 center, approach, contact tower grade. Alright, 5,000, vertical speed. Tower Ray here. Good. Glad you're still here, man. Did that just for you. Alright, we'll go ahead and arm the Loke. I've heard if you arm the Loke first, she does better on the ILS. We'll see. Zach Dill, you do the same thing? Nice. Alright, we're 15 miles, so that we're inside of that. There's Sharn. As long as we get on it here before 13 miles. Here comes the Loke right. Now, is she moving? Come on, baby. That might be too good of a vector. There it comes. Lope capture. ILS. Lope glide slope capture. Alright, we gotta keep our eyes on it, chat. Keep our eyes on it. Let's double up. Both ILSs are, both autopilots on. We're glide slope. Lope. A little bit high. She's a little bit off. See, I've noticed this. It tracks just outside of the lope. Alright, recording is on. O'Hare traffic in at 357 heavy out of 4,000 feet for 11 mile final 10 center. I might have to fly in heading mode, guys, because this lope course is not correct. Or she doesn't appear to be tracking it. Glide slope, we're on it. It's right outside of it. Might have to hand fly it. That lope will put us on 9 right. I know. Alright. Let's hand fly it. Helps if you connect the yoke first. Alright, yoke is connected. Autopilots are off. Gear down. Brake is armed.
O'Hare traffic, American 1328, vacating cover 6.
My thrust levers.
Flaps 18.
I'm a little bit concerned that our localizer course is so far to the right. Unless we got a hell of a wind here. It's hard. I'm gonna have to turn the flight director off because the flight director is not accurately guiding us here.
Flaps 22.
The loc is not loking. Can I get a wind check from somebody down there in Chicago?
Wind is calm on the final.
Thank you. Because I feel like I'm battling a crazy south wind right now.
Flaps 33.
Flaps 33, DLC is active. Auto brakes are armed. Here comes our loc finally. We must have a heck of a south wind here. Oh, look at that. Now, is that actually 10 center or is that kind of right? Let's see. Oh, we're getting high. That's 10 center. We're high on the path now. That's all right. We got DLC. Watch this. We'll get it stable. Look at that. We got a heck of a crosswind. That whoa, we just lost it all right there. Power. Good night. No call-outs is very sussy. Woo!
80 knots.
I'll take the next one. Auto brake disarm, manual braking. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chicago. How to work for that one. That's what happens when you don't trust your instruments. Alright, we'll get here behind American.
Air traffic, American 13,
Stow it.
28, and turn
Flaps
10 left,
22,
back
flaps
taxi
0.
for taxiway.
Chicago traffic, United 357 heavy clear of runway 10 center, hold short 10 left. No callouts and V1 rotate? I know. I might just have to turn off all callouts altogether. They're definitely not correct. I wonder how far that 727 is. We never turned. Oh, we landed in ghost mode. That's why we didn't have any callouts. The flight engineer couldn't see the runway. Nah. How far out is that 727? Hey Vodka, how far are you out on 10 center?
About 5 miles.
Alright, well, let us know when you get to like 2 miles. Chicago traffic, United 357 heavy cross runway 10 left taxi to gate Chicago. Nope, that's a standard EFB Bilal. It's included with the airplane. Thank you, Alberto. Glad you liked it, man. That was a fun flight, though. Oh! This taxiway is not open. It's open now. Hey, we cut off Zippy. Whoops. We'll go straight to parking. Is GSX causing my landing gear to get crippled every time I push back? It's highly likely. I have quit the drug that is GSX and I'll never go back. I will never go back to GSX.
I got a number for United.
Nah, you don't got nothing. Nah, you just don't have the right scenery, brother. Alright, let's take it in one of these gates. I think these are all like RJ gates, but we'll park here. We'll take it Gulf 13. Oh, 727's going around. Oh, 727's going around. Looks like that 727's going around. Actually, let's go park up there by the terminal. Let's go up here. Somebody got disoriented flying a 727 in IMC with a 40-knot crosswind. Hotel 1 Alpha. Perfect.
Somebody was unstable.
Oh man, look at that lineup. Look at that. I'm basically type rated on the L1011. Now the question is, there's no way we can make it to the gate, so we're gonna have to stop here. Because if we taxi all the way up to the stop line, we'll put the jet bridge in the #1 engine. So brake set. We're not going to shut it down because we want to do replay, right? So we'll kill the engine and ice. Got the fresh line up, right? Like XP. Alright. Well, since Vodka can't land a 727, gets disoriented, we're just going to go into replay mode. Oh, here comes the MD-11. Oh, he's going to try to park next to us? This ought to be interesting. Listen to the sounds. Like, see what I mean at idle? I feel like it's just awesome. Making me want to fly the MD-11. Not. DC-10? Maybe. Maybe. All right, let's take a look at the replay. Let's go ahead and disconnect. Good flying with you, gentlemen. Good luck, Vodka.
Thanks.
All right, we'll disconnect and let's go replay mode. Let's do replay with our lights on. Are they gonna yell at us? Probably gonna yell at us.
Flaps 14. Flaps 33.
Flaps 33 DLC is active. Yeah, we were battling a heck of. Look at that. Look at that crosswind. Oh my goodness. So, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that crosswind would have been out of L1011 Autoland crosswind limitations. Even though the winds seemed pretty calm when we got close to the ground, there is probably I don't know, 15 knot crosswind limitation on this. What is the crosswind limitation on the Autoland L1011? Anybody know? For the Autoland. Regardless, I would hope it would still be able to track the localizer on the autopilot. It seemed to not want to have enough correction. Yeah, we were battling it all the way in, though. Do the spoilers work in replay?
V1.
When do the spoilers come up? I guess they don't come up in replay. How do I make them come up? There we go. I'm not sure if we smashed it. We might have. We might have smashed it. Let's see. AI says 10 knot crosswind limit. It sounds about right. Just past the touchdown zone. Perfect. Alright. Let's see how we impacted here. Oh! Not bad at all. A little far. I mean, considering the conditions. Considering the conditions. Oh, shoot, that wasn't bad at all. That's so sick. I freaking love it. That was cool. We arrested that descent right before touchdown. Just let her kiss the ground. I will take that any day of the week. And twice on Sunday, my friends. Zippy, you got a 208? I'm going to say I got a 158. Got to be better than the MD-11. That crosswind was pretty wild, though, man. I didn't realize how stiff it was until it broke out. So, all the more reason why you got to trust your instruments. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to have to go pick up the kiddos here in a little bit. So we're going to wrap up the stream here. We may or may not have a bonus stream in the caravan float later if you are interested in
Flaps
that.
18. Flaps 33.
Just keep your eye on the channel. We shall see. But overall, I still love the L10. I can't wait to do. We're really going to stretch its legs. We'll probably do a long haul the next L10 flight we do. Will it be Phoenix to Honolulu, or we'll go like Bangkok to, or no, we'll go Singapore to Kai Tak. One of those two options. So, thank you all for stopping by. Shout out Mr. Randazzo. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Captain Canada is in the house. Thank you all for the support, the bank angle checks, the super chat, the milestone chats. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Thank you, Zippy and Vodka, for flying along. Nice to have a little tri-holer traffic. Sorry, Vodka, that you got disoriented there on the approach. But you're forgiven considering you're in a 727. So, you guys are awesome. Enjoy the replays. I will catch you on the next one, probably tomorrow. Again, it's either going to be a long haul L10 or something shorter haul. Tri-Jet Thursdays, new thing? Zippy, I like it. Book it. Tri-Jet Thursdays. It's done. You guys enjoy the rest of the replays. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya.
Flaps 14. Flaps 18. Flaps 22. Flaps 33.
What? Look at the vapor on the wingtip. Chat. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that since I was like 10 years old. On a straight wing. Look at that. Look at the vapor. Chat.